looking at the court means. I think maybe because this came from a parliamentary committee meeting where the story was reported in a manner that suggested we were sitting on a time bomb.
No, but it doesn't mean one to. That is
no,
not
no. I think that's why I said unless you see when
I think even last
like
week.
I'm coming because I don't have access to the data. I don't know what the real position is, but I would like to take because I don't want to double in partisan conversation.
Exactly.
So I would like to take the official position of the ministry after this particular conversation has come out. Because the minister's point is that when he was invited to the Energy Committee, the questions were that what is our current situation? Where have we come from? Do you understand? What is our current situation? And what is being done to change or reverse our current situation? And he made a point that, for example, in terms of these particular thermal plants, this is the light crude oil that we have available. But that is not to say that we are not doing anything, because we already have some consignments that are on their way to dock at Tema. So there's no problem, even though what is left is for 2.5 days to keep that plant running.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
In terms of this particular area, this is what we have. In terms of this particular area, this is what we have. In terms of debt, this is our current situation. I don't think that the minister can lie with those things. If you want to manage a sector and you are not honest with what is happening in the sector, then when there is a situation, the people of Ghana will call you out for not being honest. And so the minister, I think, in being very honest with the data, must not be misconstrued to be that nothing is being done. And I think that was his explanation. And I want to go with his explanation because he's from officialdom. That is why I want to go with this particular explanation.
Right.
So the point I want to make is that it is great to have these additions, but what I want to say is that if you really follow the story, then this is not a big news, because the point was that these particular oil that has hit our shores were already coming. And the minister, according to the minister, he had already alluded to that even though we had a shortfall, we were doing something to have that problem resolved. And so if we had really followed the story, then this will not be big news for us. That is the point I want to make. You understand? So it's good. I mean, we need that assurance. I mean, I'm not discounting it. As a nation, in fact, you have investors, you have people who are, especially for manufacturers, who are running heavy industry. You know, they need assurance. They need this kind of news to be assured that there is stability in power supply, so that their plans are not disrupted. In fact, for the average Ghanaian, the barbers, the hairdressers, the those who use electricity to work, you know, repair phones, among other things, at their shops, the average Ghanaian who works in his or her shop needs assurance of reliable power supply. So I'm not discounting this. I'm just saying that if we had really followed the story and everything, then this would not really be news to us. Maybe it would have been clear in our minds that this was going to happen. And that the only thing was that the minister for the sector wants us to understand what really is going there. And I think that is also very important that one of these days we have that conversation, the energy sector, because the energy sector, without its businesses, will not thrive. So we need to have that conversation. What really is happening in that particular sector? Why are there so much crisis in that particular sector? What is our current situation? I think that for us on Z2 and our cherished listeners, we need to have that particular informed conversation.
Absolutely.
And then it fits into whatever narrative
of course,
and everything that is happening.
I get your point, and there's no need to to hang on in there for too long, because I mean the good news is that we've been able to secure the barrels of fuel, and there's no blackouts looming as it was initially. All right, so let's do some other story. There's so many stories I'd want us to touch on this morning. So let's try and keep our responses quite brief, and then we can get into a lot of them. All right, Vice President Opoku Agyeman is home. I think that's some good news. There's not much to say about that, unless maybe Michael, you have something to say.
Oh no, we can move on. We'll come back to Madam Vice President. Let's move on.
All right. So, okay. So, Interior Minister launches crackdown on street beggars and prostitutes. Now, the Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, has announced an aggressive nationwide campaign to rid Ghana's major cities of beggars, street dwellers, and prostitutes, describing the situation as not only a social concern but also a growing national security threat. Okay, I think this was started with the arrest of over 2,000 foreign nationals that were engaged in street begging somewhere last week, and I think we touched on that briefly. But now there's a new introduction that has got to do with prostitutes. What are the implications really? Because I don't know, Michael.
Very, very interesting. Unless they want to tell us thing, or they have some intel that these persons are going to be used to, cause some national security threats. But, when it comes to such people like the prostitutes and the beggars and all that, fine. For the foreign nationals, you can repatriate them. But what about the nationals who are involved in these activities? What are you going to do to them?
Exactly.
Like what alternatives are you going to provide for them to live their lives? Because this is the way they also feed, right? This is the way they also feed in this country. So, apart from the crackdown to rid our streets of them, government should also come out with initiatives on how it's going to manage them, right? Those they are going to repatriate. What's the cost involved in taking them back to their country? What arrangements have been made for them over the nationals? What are you doing for them after you take them off the streets? Because they still have to eat, they still have to work, right? All these things have to be considered. But generally, it's a good initiative. I mean, we discussed before that these guys disturb on the streets a lot. Me, I fear for the way they move across the highways, crossing the major roads, and the possibility of they getting knocked down by vehicles, like the beggars especially. It's a good initiative by the Minister of Interior, but all these issues are raised, need to be considered and also brought to our notice so that we know that everything that is being done is being done in good faith,
right.
And we'll do that at the end of the day.
Right. You introduced a very good angle. Now, when we talk about the prostitute, I don't know, but I don't have the data, and so I can't speak to that. But from what I know across there, I mean, the word on the street really is that most of them are from other countries. Most of the prostitutes on our streets are from other countries, and they come in to do this to get some money to feed. And you introduce certain things. I know my Abel will agree with some of the things you said. Abel. Hello, Abel.
Hello, Nick, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
I wanted to hear from you as well on that.
Yes, I heard you. Let me use this opportunity to welcome the Vice President of the country. It's very important, I think yesterday the president was reporting to her that he was nearly impeached because he was away. So maybe we will not have that situation going forward. Anyway, but it's good to see her.
The president has a sense of humor.
Yeah. It's good to see her very fit and looking very strong. The campaign really took a toll on her.
Yeah.
And for some of us, I'm sure, Ralph, like some of us who have been advocating for a particular cause, because we believe that when women are in leadership, it helps greatly. It's very important to have her out there inspiring a lot of confidence and a lot of trust
young girls,
in a lot of these things. So it's good to have her back, and we wish her very well. And I mean, from us at Zed, the news review team, we want to welcome her back to the country.
Yeah.
Around this particular story about the beggars on our streets and prostitutes, I keep asking myself that how did they end up in the country? And especially with that magnitude, if you look at the number, because the number kept increasing and increasing until we had that particular situation at Abusokain area, Circle, and other parts of the country. So right away, I was convinced that it is a failure of the immigration service itself. The focus of the immigration service to be at some particular part of the border, border point, and leave other parts out, is what has caused this problem. I don't think that we don't have intelligence in this country. In fact, our intelligence agency is rated among the best in Africa. So it cannot be news to government. I understand this government is new, they are 5 months old, but when I talk about government general, because governance is continuum, so this cannot be news to the government in general, whether in the last 8 years or in the current 5 new months. And so for services like the Ghana Immigration Service that are in charge of border control and all these things, for you to have a situation at this level that had become threatening to national security, the question is, what were they doing? What were they doing? If, like you were saying, if prostitutes are in this country and a chunk of them, let's say we don't have the data, but if 80 to 90% of them are foreigners, and what we are trying to say is that a lot of them are illegal people. When you talk about it means they don't have residence permit and things. Yeah. It means they didn't enter the country legally. It means they didn't enter that they were coming to do any particular business or something. So they don't have residency status. They don't have any legal status. What it means, when they were entering your country, they did not have any job. And if somebody is entering your country and does not have a job to do, does not have a bank statement that indicates that the person has some particular amount of money that the person can spend within some particular period, what is your placing system like? If Afolabi enters Upper East region and he says he's going to Upper East region for 3 weeks, how do I know Afolabi can survive that 3 weeks in Upper East region? That is what the embassies do in Ghana. The foreign embassies, that's what they do very good. They want to know, Afolabi, what do you have? What business do you have in the Upper East region? Show us how you can survive in the Upper East region for that 3 weeks. You are going on tourism, you are going on this, you are going on this. The immigration services or whatever the security agencies they are collaborating with, they have all those data on you and they follow up. And within the expiration of your entry status, you are on a list that they start looking for you. If they find you anywhere, you are sent out of the country. What is our situation like in Ghana? We like to misbehave so much. The negligence, the irresponsibility, and then when the situation gets out of hand, then people pretend that they are working. I think the new Ghana Immigration Service boss is very new, so I have not blamed this on him. If the old boss was still in charge, I would have said that he should have resigned. But this one is a new one, so you don't even know how to handle this whole situation.
Maybe we need to give them some time.
It is so embarrassing.
Right.
It's so embarrassing. You think I use that particular circle stretch a lot. Normally, VIP, the VIP, Jean VIP around that stretch, the STC is around that stretch. Yeah. And for some of us who frequent the north a lot, we move along and we pick a lot of parcels along that stretch. We observe the situation. In fact, before this particular swoop, there was this sister station where this conversation had become a huge one because one of the journalists was concerned that initially that was not the numbers. Before we realized, they had started making tents around some of the along the Dubai interchange and other interchanges, and we're now sleeping comfortably. Are you telling me that the Ghana Immigration Service don't know all this? It has to take national security concern express, because these things can easily be infiltrated by criminal gangs,
right,
for perpetration of crimes that I don't know, for God's sake, where this country will be. And a whole agency responsible for this will sit aloof with nothing. They had to take cries for them to come out. At the point, people even said it's a responsibility of the gender ministry. What does the gender ministry have to do with illegal who are begging on the streets? Whether they are children, they are not children, it doesn't matter. As for the prostitution, when the ministers they want to get rid of prostitution has been with us since time immemorial.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
They have engaged in prostitution as livelihood. It is an illegal business. Whether it is foreigners or it is nationals, people have engaged in it. What is your focus? Is your focus the foreigners who are in the country and do not have permits? Is that your focus? What is the conversation? Is it that you are telling us that you want to get rid of prostitution? You see, some of the things people talk about, the assurances. You give assurances that are vague. Can you get rid of prostitution in the country? Is that what the minister wants to tell us? Or he wants to get rid of illegal people who might be using that as an opportunity to explore loopholes within our security architecture? You must be very specific, because this has security implications. Okay. In fact, across ECOWAS, because right now the president is preaching a unity message. And you if you don't handle some of these things well, and other countries begin to retaliate, because we have other Ghanaian foreigners in other West African countries who are doing things there illegal. You understand?
Yeah.
So you have to handle it tactically. And I think the immigration service must be doing their job at the borders.
That's true.
The situation must not escalate internally for us to get here.
Right. Very, very, very important. Very, very important. So maybe our last story before we go. Our time is up. Our time is up. So maybe Michael, maybe your final thoughts. Our time is up.
Well, based on what Abel said concerning the immigration issue, we have to see more action. Right? We have to see more action, and then whatever decision that this Interior Ministry and the Ghana is taking, we have to be deliberate and intentional about protecting our borders, right? Because there are threats all over, and we can't have this issue being the conduit for some of these threats getting into our country. So the actions must be intentional and deliberate going forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all I would like to add. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. There were so many stories out there. I've loved that we touched on a lot of stories in the New Finder newspaper. And so if you listened, please do well to grab a copy of the New Finder newspaper. Very interesting stories you may want to read. But thank you. That was Michael Akpene Afolabi, a news review pundit here, and also Abel and Solowina Modiok, governance and policy strategies, and also a news review pundit here, helping me break down the headlines. Thank you. Business News with Samuel Ayenchi. Please stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to the business news segment on Business Breakfast on Zed. I am Samuel Ayenchi, and these are our top stories. Ghana Stock Exchange set for first IPO since 2018, and the Association of Ghana Industries AGI anticipates policy rate cut amid signs of economic recovery, and mobile money transactions hit record high in April. Let's settle for the details. For the first time in 7 years, the Ghana Stock Exchange GSE is preparing to welcome a new initial public offering IPO as Casapreco Company Limited, one of Ghana's top beverage producers, has confirmed plans to list by the end of 2025. This will be the GSE's first traditional initial public offering since MTN Ghana's landmark listing in 2018, which raised over $238 million US. While other companies have listed by introduction, Casapreco's public share offer is expected to reignite investor interest in the local equity market. Casapreco plans to float up to 25% of its shares, giving Ghanaians a chance to own a stake in a homegrown success story. The company, founded in 1989, holds about 45% of the local beverage market and operates in 14 African countries. The decision follows a remarkable financial year. In 2024, Casapreco posted a 574% rise in net profit from 20.4 million Ghana cedis to 137.7 million Ghana cedis. Revenue climbed 45% to 2.7 billion Ghana cedis, driven by domestic demand and expanding export market. Q1 of 2025 has continued that momentum with 47.2 million Ghana cedis profit, more than doubling last year's first quarter. Management says the IPO will support growth, new product lines, and regional expansion. The Ghana Stock Exchange Managing Director Abna Amwa hailed the move as a major milestone, adding that it reflects the maturity of Ghana's capital market and could encourage more indigenous firms and state-owned enterprises to follow suit. Investors are already showing renewed confidence. The GSE Composite Index has climbed 7.92% in the last month and is up to 33.39% year to date. Analysts say the listing could boost liquidity, improve corporate governance, and offer Ghanaians a direct path to invest in successful local businesses. While the company has not yet disclosed the offer price or launch date, more details are expected in the coming months as regulatory approvals are finalized. In other news, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, is expressing optimism ahead of today's Monetary Policy Committee meeting by the Bank of Ghana as the central bank prepares to announce its latest decision on the benchmark interest rate. At the last meeting, the policy rate was raised by 100 basis points to 28% in response to inflation concerns. But now, with signs of macroeconomic stability, the Association of Ghana Industries believes a rate cut is due. Speaking to the media, the Association of Ghana Industries Chief Executive Seth Chum Akwabwa highlighted the recent strengthening of the Ghana cedi and overall improvement in the macroeconomic environment as strong grounds for a shift in policy direction. Mr. Akwabwa added that a lower policy rate would ease borrowing costs, helping businesses to expand, lower production expenses, and potentially reduce consumer prices. All eyes are now on the Bank of Ghana as the business community awaits the decision that could shape interest rate and economic activity in the months ahead. Ghana's mobile money sector continues its upward surge, hitting a record 365 billion Ghana cedis in transactions for the month of April 2025. That's up 3.8% from the 351.7 billion Ghana cedis recorded in March, marking the highest monthly value so far this year. The number of transactions also climbed, rising from 764 million in March to 778 million in April, highlighting how mobile money is becoming even more central to daily life and business across the country. Experts say this growth is fueled by rising mobile phone usage, a growing agent network, and the ease and speed of mobile-based financial services. Mobile money is not just convenient, it's transforming how Ghanaians access and manage their finances, promoting financial inclusion and powering the digital economy. And with continued regulatory support and growing tech adoption, analysts expect the trend to keep moving upward. Ghana could save up to 6 billion Ghana cedis annually in tax revenue leakages by strengthening technology integration and data sharing across government agencies. And that's according to a panel of experts speaking at a national dialogue on revenue mobilization hosted by the University of Professional Studies, Accra. The forum, which included academics, tax practitioners, and mining sector specialists, pointed to corruption, mining losses, transfer pricing, and customs and devaluation as the key sources of leakage. They argue that improved digital systems and cross-agency data synchronization could dramatically improve tax compliance and enforcement, with institutions like the Ghana Revenue Authority already making strides through automation. Among the recommendations was linking tax data with agencies such as the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority to verify income and assets across sectors. Experts also called for a centralized system to prevent discrepancies in financial reporting between institutions. Beyond formal businesses, the panel emphasized capturing revenue from the informal sector, proposing micro-taxation models using mobile money payments. Mining governance experts also raised concerns over foreign contract, suggesting these deals should mandate technology transfer and capacity building for long-term independence in revenue monitoring. While technology is seen as essential, panelists agree that it must be backed by institutional integrity, strong governance, and political will to succeed. Despite Ghana increasing its revenue collection from 75 billion Ghana cedis in 2022 to 104 billion Ghana cedis in 2024, experts stress that addressing inefficiencies and leakages is the key to building a more self-reliant economy. As it marks its 20th anniversary, the Venture Capital Trust Fund VCTF is calling for greater domestic investment to sustain and expand support for Ghana's small and medium-sized enterprises. At a media engagement in Accra, the Venture Capital Trust Fund highlighted a strong track record, investment in 77 companies, 14 profitable exits, and over 28,000 jobs created as proof that venture capital is a viable growth engine for Ghana's economy. The fund has committed over 359 million Ghana cedis, attracting more than 2 billion Ghana cedis in additional private capital. According to the trust, every 1 Ghana cedi invested by VCTF has leveraged over 5 cedi 50 pesos from other investors. VCTF's portfolio spans agri-processing, healthcare, education and manufacturing, with standout exits including ethanol producer Caltech and health service producer Legacy Health. Despite this success, CEO Michael Abe warned that the venture capital ecosystem remains too dependent on foreign capital, which poses long-term risk. To address this, VCTF is pushing to mobilize local funding through pension funds, CSR contributions, and a new responsibility to grow campaign, encouraging large firms to support SMEs. General Manager Percival Amponsa explained that the trust strategy as a catalytic investor, often taking the first loss position to de-risk ventures and attract more private participation. Looking ahead, VCTF plans to launch several new funds, including the Edumera Fund to support 10,000 startups annually, a 24-hour economy SME equity fund, and a technology innovation fund in collaboration with the Ministry of Communications. Executives describe the future as exciting and say new programs are in the pipeline to deepen their impact and strengthen Ghana's entrepreneurial landscape. And that's what we have for the business news segment on Business Breakfast on Zed. But before we go, let's take a recap of our top stories. Ghana Stock Exchange set for first initial public offering IPO since 2018. The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, has anticipated policy rate cut amid signs of economic recovery, and mobile money transactions have hit record high in April. You can get more business news on www.zmultimedia.com. You can also follow us on all the social media platforms, ZFMGH on Instagram, Facebook and X, and Z Multimedia on TikTok and YouTube. I am Samuela Aintree. Thanks for listening. Up next is a Sports Flash with Lukeman. Evergreen Moment.
The stage is set for something special.
It is time to go racing.
Garnacho! Oh wow! Oh wow! LeBron James with no regard for human life.
You couldn't write a script like this.
Here's Mensah, this is positive. Williams!
Kudus! The Korean joy did not last for long.
Oh my gosh, Kudus.
Set back for Partey. Oh, yes! Oh, yes, Thomas Partey.
Hello, good morning. It's time for Sports Flash on a Business Breakfast on Zed. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment. Mohamed Salah has been crowned the EPL Player of the Season. Kumasi Asante Kotoko are ready for the BBN Challenge on Sunday, while Accra House of Oak face Accra Lions tonight. The future of Bruno Fernandes hangs in doubt at Manchester United, and Shai Gilgeous Alexander has proven why he is the NBA MVP. Well, we begin with news in the Ghana Premier League, and Kumasi Asante Kotoko rounded up preparations ahead of their trip to BBN for the top of the table clash against Gold Stars with an emphatic win over Adom FC. Now, coach Karim Zito's side defeated the lower tier outfit 4-1 to continue his customary Thursday's friendly before league games. Defender Patrick Esiedu opened the scoring for the Porcupine Warriors before Samson Eduku doubled the advantage. Samba O'Neil and Kwame Opoku completed victory with strikes late in the match. Now, the head coach of Accra House of Oak, Abubakar Ouattara, has charged his players to brace themselves up for a tough clash against Accra Lions on Friday in the matchday 32 game of the Ghana Premier League. Meanwhile, their managing director, Delali Anku Adiama, says the club is going through a rebuilding phase and has called on fans of the club to be patient as they work to improve. The Phobians have had a topsy-turvy campaign so far, sparking frustration among their supporters, but Anku Adiama believes the club needs time to rebuild properly. Also, Legon cities are yet to decide which zone they will compete in the 2025-2026 Division 1 League following their relegation from the Ghana Premier League. This was revealed by the club's communications director, Kwame Jomo Ajiman.
So we have zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and we came from that enclave. We have to go back to work. It's another headache. Very tough, trust me. I mean, after a game against Nations that confirmed, our relegation on Monday, I was having a conversation with administrator Kwamna Senso, and we were talking about these things and like, how would they even receive us? So these are conversations we are having, but all of these decisions, I am sure at the end of the season when we are over and done with the Ghana Premier League, I mean, whatever decisions I would take going forward, whatever we would have to do going forward, we will definitely communicate.
Well, so that is the communications director of Legon City speaking there. Remember, this was a club that had a Samoa Jan. It also had a goalkeeper like Fatau Dauda. But then they are going down this season. Now, Mediama SC are set to terminate the contract of striker Francis Andikumi at the end of the current season. The 24-year-old forward who joined the Move and Yellow in August 2024 on a 2-year deal has failed to meet expectations of the former Ghana Premier League champions. Now, to Ghanaian players abroad, and Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta says he wants Thomas Partey to stay at the club. The Ghana international's contract at the club runs this summer. However, Arsenal are yet to decide on the future of the Black Stars midfielder. Now, Partey has been linked to Barcelona, Juventus, and clubs in Saudi Arabia ahead of the summer transfer window.
In regards to Thomas, I think consistency-wise, he's been his best season. I think the way he's played, performed, his availability, he's been exceptional, and he's a really important player for us.
Well, that was Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta speaking about Thomas Partey's future at the club. Now, West Ham United are prepared to listen to offers for Mohamed Kudus this summer, with the Ghanaian forward's future at the club uncertain following a disappointing campaign. Kudus joined from Ajax for £38 million in 2023 and impressed in his debut campaign, but has failed to replicate that same form this season. In Europe, Rafinha says his dream to be at Barcelona until the end of his career after signing a new deal He actually wants to stay at the club until the end of his career after signing a deal that will keep him at the club until 2028. Now, the Brazil winger has scored 34 goals and registered 25 assists in 56 appearances this season as Hansi Flick's side completed a domestic treble of La Liga, Copa del Rey and the Spanish Super Cup. Still in Spain, Real Madrid captain Luka Modric has revealed he will leave the Spanish Giants after the end of the FIFA Club World Cup in the United States. The 39-year-old Croatian midfielder, the 2018 Ballon d'Or winner, will play his last match for Real Madrid at home in the La Liga when they welcome Real Sociedad on Sunday. Now to England, Liverpool striker Mohamed Salah has been named as the Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year. The Egyptian forward led Liverpool to Premier League success and will end the season as the EPL's top scorer. Now Salah has been assessing his chances of winning the Ballon d'Or after his latest accolade.
I would say I never had a season like this and winning big trophies. So this is, I would say, my best chance to get it right now while I'm in the club, because you just had that crazy season with the trophy. That's give me a good chance.
Well, so he has a good chance, but then for not winning the UEFA Champions League, it will be difficult for him to win the Ballon d'Or. Now, Al Hilal are interested in signing Bruno Fernandes, but plans to sign him are not advanced at present. However, that could change because Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal are playing at the Club World Cup next month and can sign players during a special early transfer window between June 1st to June 10th. Fernandes, who is captain of Manchester United, has been lamenting over the club's poor season.
No, it doesn't change anything. Our season was bad, and it won't change by the fact that we lost. Obviously, winning will give a little bit of something bright, of something positive to the season, but won't change that our season was very negative.
Well, Man United season was actually very negative from a fan's perspective. Away from football to some tennis news, and Novak Djokovic celebrated his 38th birthday with a revenge victory over Matteo Arnaldi to reach the Geneva Open semi-finals. Djokovic lost to the Italian in April in what was a third straight loss for the Serb great during a mixed clay court season. However, Djokovic came through a stern test in tough conditions to beat Arnaldi 6-4, 6-4 and continue his French Open preparations in positive fashion. In the NBA last night, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander proved why he is the MVP of the NBA after scoring 38 points to lead the Oklahoma City Thunders to a 118-103 victory in the Western Conference Final. The victory means the OKC have taken a 2-0 lead in their series final and could advance to the final of the NBA with 2 more wins. Later tonight, the Indiana Pacers will also be facing the New York Knicks. That will be all for sports this morning. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment. Business Breakfast on Zed continues with Trevi Hammond.
Hello, esteemed CEOs. Join us for the highly anticipated 9th Ghana CEO Summit and Expo on 26th May 2025 at Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast, Accra, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. This biggest business leadership conference offers actionable insight and strategic opportunities for topmost CEOs and policymakers. This year's theme, leading Ghana's economic reset, transforming business and governance for a sustainable futuristic economy. We'll focus on transformational leadership to reset Ghana's economy through sustainability, digital innovation, and governance reforms. Be inspired by the special guest of honor, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. Key sessions include CEO presentations, master classes, keynote plenaries, the CEO Excellence Awards, and more. Register today at GhanaCEOSummit.com to secure your spot. For inquiries and sponsorship, contact 0546 391 970 or email info@GhanaCEOSummit.com. Powered by Ghana CEO Network in partnership with Deloitte, PwC, GIPC, SIGA, Media General, and Multimedia Group. Ghana CEO Summit. Be inspired.
Dream home. No interest for 2 years. Are you ready to step into your dream home? With Lakeside Estate's exclusive offer, you can own your own home in just 2 years with no interest repayment. This offers you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice. Choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of Lakeside Hills clusters. Your future awaits you. Imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. As your CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. Call us today on 020-477-5040 or 020-141-8622. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour for our available homes. T&Cs applied. Make your dream a reality. Lakeside Estate. Quality homes for all.
To your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
God has given us victory. He has taken away all fears. What the enemy plans to do, God has turned it around for good. Now we dance, dance, dance as a victor. Move, move, move.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
I'm a living testimony. My life is full of glory. I move forward only. God has given us victory. I'm the son of the living God. For I'm led by His Spirit. Like the wind, you can stop me. No. God has given us victory.
Zed 101.9 FM.
What the enemy planned to do, God has turned it around for good. Now we dance as a victor. Move as a victor. Clap as a victor. We have the victory. Now we dance as a victor. Move as a victor. Clap clap, clap, clap as a victory. We have the victory. Now we dance, dance, dance as a victory. Move, 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 move as a victory. Clap, 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 clap as a victory. We have the victory. Now we
It's your lifestyle, lurcher, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Can't control myself. Holy Ghost taking over. I'm in a vintage of hell. Tell him I'm taking over. What a bus won't tell me. Speaking tongues and tell me. They confused and tell me. Fire phone and tell me. Breaking all this activity. Told you all activity. Me again, immunity. Holy Ghost is divinity. What a bus won't tell me. Speaking tongues and tell me. They confused and tell me. Fire phone and tell me.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM. Your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio. Zed 101.9 FM. You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM. Leisure and business radio.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
Stop my spiritual flow. Stepping out of place with no physical guns. You should already know. I want to run, ba, 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 yeah. I want to run, ba, 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 yeah. I want to run, ba, 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 yeah.
Everything I think he brings to pass, I think he passed. Every other gun, in fact, we feel lean back. News flash, forget terminal. My goons back with a general. My goons back, dress shoes black, too bad, you got it federal. They don't get it, money, get it. With no principle thing, whatever you got, just get it. They don't get it, money, get it.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us here on the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. You had the Lukman Evergreen Moomin with a sports flash, and also Samuela Nchi with a business news. Thank you very much for sticking and staying. All right about now we get into our business brief segment. And guess what is on business brief this morning? Something very super important. And today we're talking about depression. Please stay tuned. right, thank you very much for sticking and staying with us here. This morning on Business Brief, we're talking about depression and how to deal with it. Of course, we're not giving all the details because I'm not a professional in that space or an expert in that space, and so I'll give you the little I got from my research, and then when we get into the roundtable, the experts themselves will speak to us on the same subject. This month is Mental Health Awareness Month. The month of May annually is used to observe that, and so we're talking about stuff like that. So if you notice, for the past few weeks, every Friday we do something related to mental health. And it's been very, very good. The feedback has been great. All right, so let's get into it. Today, we're talking about something that is not about the bottom lines and it's not about the balance sheets, of course, but it's about you. It's about us. And it starts with a question that is not asked enough in boardrooms or pitch rooms. How are you, really? Not the regular how are you, where you just expect some I am fine and that is all. But how are you really? You see, depression doesn't announce itself with a red flag. From what I have come to know, it sneaks in silently, often behind a polished LinkedIn post, WhatsApp message, or a high-performing executive smile. And in the fast-moving world that we live in, especially in high-performance circles like ours, whether you're leading a business, you're running some organization somewhere, it's not always easy to spot, let alone admit it. But the truth is this. Depression is costing us more than we think. Yes, depression is costing us more than we think. Not just emotionally, economically, socially, and for some of us, even spiritually. So let's talk some numbers. Now, according to the World Health Organization, 280 million people globally live with depression. 280 million people globally live with depression. And that's nearly the population of the entire United States. And closer to home, here in Ghana, recent research from the Ghana Health Service and Mental Health Authority shows that approximately 21% of adults live with significant psychological distress. 21%. That is to say that every 10 people that you pick, you get some 2 people that are living with psychological distress, and that's more than 1 in every 5 people you do business with. And yet, mental health budget remains woefully inadequate. Now, in low and middle income countries, less than 2% of national health budgets are allocated to mental health, even though mental illness contributes to 32% of years lived with disability globally. Let's zoom in on what this means for the professional world. Now, depression is now one of the leading causes of disability worldwide. If you didn't know that, depression is now one of the leading causes of disability worldwide. In the workplace, it causes over 200 million lost work days per year in the US alone. And that's just one country. Now, the World Economic Forum estimates that mental health disorders will cost the global economy $16 trillion by 2030 if nothing changes. Yes, you heard me right, trillion. $16 trillion. But beyond the macroeconomic lens, there's also the human cost. The young innovator who can't get out of bed, the CEO making high-stakes decisions while drowning in silence, the startup founder who pushes through burnout thinking that rest is a luxury they can't afford. Depression doesn't discriminate. It affects your most talented team members, your most ambitious interns, and your most charismatic leaders. So here's what I want to say to you today, from one professional to another. Mental health is not a personal issue. It's a leadership issue. If we are going to build sustainable businesses, resilient startups, innovative tech hubs, and ethical investment portfolios, then we need to start talking about mental wellness. Not just as retreats, not just when things fall apart, but proactively, consistently, and also compassionately. Now, I get it. We are wired for solutions. We like action steps. We talk about them a lot of time. But let's spend some time doing that. How do we, as professionals and leaders, begin to deal with depression? Whether it's in ourselves or in the people that we lead. First of all, I believe that we need to normalize the conversation. We need to create work cultures where mental health is not whispered about, but discussed openly. Where asking for help is seen as a strength and not a weakness. Because if we can pitch to billionaires, we can say, I need to take a mental health day. Also, we need to know the signs. Depression doesn't always look like sadness. It doesn't look like fatigue or anything. It's a loss of creativity. There's some depression in there. And so we need to understand what it looks like in high-functioning professionals, because it often hides behind, I am just tired. It could be depression brewing. We need to also invest in mental wellness the way we invest in tech. We need to provide access to counseling, some flexible schedules, mindfulness resources, and burnout prevention programs. We need to treat mental health infrastructure the same way we would about cybersecurity. Very, very important. We need to also check our own pulse. If you are constantly pouring out, you will burn out. That's the reality. And so rest isn't a reward. Even God, after creating for 6 days, the scripture says that he rested on the 7th day. And so rest isn't a reward, it's a requirement. High performance doesn't mean high pressure all the time. When you need to know when to pause. You need to know when to delegate. You need to know when to say, I'm not okay. And also, one thing we can also do is to lead with empathy. Now, if someone on your team is struggling, don't just offer some deadlines. Offer some dignity. Ask questions. Listen deeply. Be human first and boss second. And I'll say this especially to the younger entrepreneurs who are listening to me, or who may find this video later on Facebook or on our YouTube platform. Your ambition is very beautiful, but don't build empires on the ruins of your mental health. If you lose yourself in the process, it's not success. It's a sacrifice. Now, I'm not a psychologist, and which is exactly why I'm excited about this particular roundtable discussion. Today, we're going to be joined by some professionals who live and breathe this particular work. People who have the research, they have the experience and the heart to guide us through it all. So we're going to talk about a lot of things in that regard. So this will be all for business brief. We will get into the details properly. We need to understand all that depression is about. We need to understand how to identify and also how to deal with it. Why men especially are often undiagnosed, and what we can do about it. There are a lot of things we will unpack. So please don't go anywhere. We'll get into our roundtable discussion, and then we go into details. But this will be all for business brief this morning. It's been a great conversation on depression. We will talk a bit more about it when we get into our roundtable discussion. But up next is Transport Today with Solomon Tetenate. Please stay tuned.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right. Okay. Time for Transport Today. Solomon Tetenate is seated, ready to bring us that. Solo, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Me. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. It's Friday.
Yeah,
I know
Friday.
how excited you get when it's Friday.
Oh, no, today.
Today, I know
I'm excited. Because I have no plans for the weekend. So
oh, okay. Then you have to look at something. You need to plan
if
something.
only you can do
Masa.
something.
All right. Solo is seated, ready to give us all the flights, the local flight schedules, and also the transport today. So tell us what do you have for us today?
All right, so on the Transport Today segment, I'm taking you through the local flight schedules for Passion Air and then Africa World Airlines. And then we will look at the traffic updates in town, and then I end with the news in the aviation sector. But let me start with the flight schedules for Passion Air. And so I'm starting with Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. So in Passion Air Accra to Kumasi, the morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m. and 11:20 a.m. Passion Air Accra to Kumasi, the morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:50 a.m. and 11:20 a.m. And then the afternoon schedules are 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. 1:50 p.m. and 4:20 p.m. And then the evening schedules are 7 p.m. and 7:20 p.m. 7 p.m. and 7:20 p.m. So these are the flight schedules for Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. And it takes 50 minutes to get to your destination. So in all, we have 7 flights available, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and then 2 in the afternoon, and then 2 in the evening. Let's look at Accra to Takoradi Passion Air. So Accra to Takoradi, the morning schedule is 6:20 a.m. and then the afternoon schedule is 4:40 p.m. The morning schedule is 6:20 a.m. and then the afternoon schedule is 4:40 p.m. and it takes 50 minutes to get to your destination. Passion Air Accra to Takoradi. Passion Air Accra to Sunyani, the morning schedule is 9:10 a.m. and then the afternoon schedule is 1:50 p.m. The morning schedule is 9:10 a.m. and then the afternoon schedule is 1:50 p.m. Passion Air Accra to Sunyani, and it takes 1 hour to get to your destination. Accra to Wa Passion Air, it has only 1 flight available for the day at 9:40 a.m. 9:40 a.m. Passion Air Accra to Wa, and it takes 1 hour 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Tamale, Passion Air Accra to Tamale, the morning schedule is 6 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. The morning schedule is 6 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 12:20 p.m. and 4 p.m. Passion Air Accra to Tamale, and it takes 1 hour 20 minutes to get to your destination. So these are the flight schedules for Passion Air. Let's look at Africa World Airlines, how their schedules also looks like today. So Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi, the morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:40 a.m. and 11:40 a.m. Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi, the morning schedules are 6:20 a.m., 8:40 a.m. and 11:40 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 2:20 p.m. and 4:40 p.m. 2:20 p.m. and 4:40 p.m. And then the evening schedules are 6:50 p.m. and 7 p.m. 6:50 p.m. and 7 p.m. So in all, we have 7 flights available for the day for Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi. We have 3 in the morning, and we have 2 in the afternoon, and then 2 in the evening. It takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Kumasi, Africa World Airlines. Accra to Takoradi, Africa World Airlines, the morning schedule is 6:40 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 2:10 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. The morning schedule for Accra to Takoradi, Africa World Airlines is 6:40 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 2:10 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. It takes 40 minutes to get to your destination. Accra to Tamale, Africa World Airlines Accra to Tamale, the morning schedules are 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. and then the afternoon schedules are 12:30 p.m. and 12:30 p.m. 2:20 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. 12:30 p.m. 2:20 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. So these are the schedules for Accra to Tamale, Africa World Airlines. It takes 1 hour to get to your destination, Africa World Airlines Accra to Tamale. So we have 2 flights available in the morning and then 3 in the afternoon. There's no evening flight for Accra to Tamale, Africa World Airlines. So these are the flight schedules for today. That's Africa World Airlines and Passion Air. Let's look at the traffic situation in town. As we speak, there's a bit traffic in town, but it's not that intense. Right from the Presbyterian Boys Secondary School, and that's Presec, to the Goyo Fuel Station, UPSC Junction, is building up slowly. It's not that intense, but I believe maybe it's because of the traffic lights over there that is causing the traffic. So it's not that it's not anything for you to be scared about. On the Atomic Road, that's Hachu Atomic Road, right from the Atlantic Mall at Atomic Junction, all the way to where the the barbecue is situated, is a restaurant, is building up slowly from the Atomic Junction to the barbecue. That's a restaurant on the stretch, on the Hachu Atomic stretch. The traffic is building up slowly. So if you are using that stretch, you should also take note of that. So on the same stretch, heading towards the Kwabenya Senior High School, right from where the EcoBank Hachu branch is situated, there's traffic on that stretch heading towards the Kwabenya Senior High School. So if you are using that route, also you should take note of that. There's traffic on that stretch past where even the Melcom Hachu Atomic branch is situated. There's traffic is very intense at the moment. So if you are using that route, you should take note of that. So that's the traffic situation on that stretch. Dome Market, the road on the Dome Market, or where KFC Dome is situated, is very, very, very busy at the moment. Is very, very busy at the moment. So if you are using that stretch, you should take note of that. Right from where Dome Crossing or Dome Crossing taxi rank is situated, past KFC Dome branch, all the way to the Camos Pharmacy Limited, is very busy at the moment. So if you are using that stretch, you should take note of that. And that's the St. John's Dome Kwabenya Brekusu Road. You should take note of that. There is traffic on that stretch. Accra Kumasi Road, if you are coming from Kumasi, right from where the Pokwasi interchange is situated, if you are getting close to the Shell Fuel station of Angkor Barrier, and there's traffic on that stretch, getting close to where the Shell Fuel station of Angkor Barrier is situated, there's traffic on that stretch, so you should take note of that. And so that is the traffic situation on the Kumasi Accra Road. There's traffic at Melcom, Achimota Melcom branch. There's traffic from that side all the way to Achimota Old Station bus stop. There's traffic. The road is very, very busy at the moment. So if you're using that route, you should also take note of that. So that's the traffic situation over there. Tesano, where the Papaya fast food is situated, is busy at the moment on the Tesano stretch. That is very busy at the moment. So if you're using that route, you should take note of that. So that's the traffic situation. Also, Ghana Communication Technology University, on the same Insawam Road, heading towards Circle, is very busy at the moment. So you should take note of that. And so that's the traffic situation over there. Accra New Town, getting close to the overhead where the First Century Gospel Church Circle branch is situated, is very busy. Right from that place to where the Terisol Ghana office Circle branch is situated, is very, very busy. The road is very, very busy at the moment, so you should take note of that. And so that's the traffic situation also over there. On the Independence Avenue, is building up slowly. It's building up slowly on the Independence Avenue. Is building up slowly, right from where the EcoBank Ghana PLC, that's the head office, is situated. Is building up slowly, past where the British Council is situated. Is building up slowly. So if you are using the Independence Avenue, you should just take note that is building up slowly on that stretch. So that's the traffic situation over there. Lancaster Accra to 37 is busy at the moment. The Lancaster Hotel to where 37 Military Hospital is situated is also busy at the moment. So if you are using that stretch heading towards Accra Circle, you should take note that there's traffic around where Lancaster Accra is situated to 37 Military Hospital. So that's the traffic situation in town. But before I leave, let me give you what is trending in the aviation sector. So United Airlines Aviate Academy faces second lawsuit. United Airlines is facing a second lawsuit related to its United Aviate Academy, and that's the flight school United Airlines launched in 2022 to support careers' goal of hiring more than 10,000 pilot within the next decade. So the lawsuit alleges fraud and significant delays in training, and so the one that's the plaintiff is saying that he's seeking $500,000 in damages, and that's coming from the plaintiff Carrie Lane Thompson. That this latest development follows a similar lawsuit filed in the federal court last month by 29 former students of United Aviate Academy. They claim that the facility doesn't have enough instructors or aircraft to properly train the graduate or to properly train and graduate its students in the allotted time. So as a result, many were forced to drop out or were expelled from the school, which is taking too long to advance through the program. So these are some of the reasons why they are filing this lawsuit against the United Airlines Academy, that's the Aviate Academy. So according to the court documents, the academy markets itself as an expedited flight school program designed to provide all necessary certifications to become a commercial pilot within 1 year. But students are prohibited from working while attending the academy. They are prohibited, for attending to other things whilst they are enrolled in the school. But looking at everything going on, they could see that they lack things, or they lack instructors, they lack resource and all that. Yeah, so they've filed lawsuit against the school that there should be something to be done about it. So that's what is trending in the aviation sector. And thank you so much, Nee, for
thank you
having me today.
Thank you very much, Solomon Tetenate, my colleague here, for bringing us all of that. Right, that will be all for transport today. We'll get into our market trend segment very, very soon. But we'll take a quick music break, and then when we return, our in-house economic analyst will join me for this one. Stay tuned.
No jamming.
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
So gonna get to clapping. Go pop it for a plan, pop it for me. Turn around and drop it for a plan, drop it for me. I'll rent a beach house in Miami. Wake up with no jammies. Lobster tail for dinner. Julio served that scampi. You got it if you want it. Got it if you want it. Said you got it if you want it. Take my wallet if you want it now. Jump in the Cadillac. Girl, let's put some miles on it.
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
You deserve it, baby, you deserve it all. And I'm gonna give it to you. Gold jewelry shining so bright. Strawberry champagne on nice. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Sex by the fire at night. Silk sheets and diamonds, all white. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like.
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
Say the word and we go. You can be my flica. Girl, I'll be a flico, mama sister. I would never make a promise that I can't keep. I promise that your smile ain't gonna never leave. Shopping sprees in Paris. Everything 24 carats. Take a look in that mirror. Now tell me who's the fairest. Is it you? Is it you? Is it me? Is it me? Say it's us.
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
Jump in the Cadillac. Girl, let's put some miles on it. Anything you want, just to put a smile on it. You deserve it, baby, you deserve it all. And I'm gonna give it to you. Gold jewelry.
This is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM.
Champagne on nice. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like.
The best beats, the hottest hits, and that Friday feeling you've been waiting for is here on Zed 101.9 FM.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
All right, thank you very much for sticking and staying with us here on the Business Breakfast on Zed with me, Trebi Hammond. It's a Freaky Friday. And this is your lifestyle, leisure, and business platform. All right, you know that you can own your own house in just 2 years with no interest repayment? Yeah, that's possible with Lakeside Estate. We've got an exclusive offer for you. You can own your own house in just 2 years with no interest repayment. If you contact us today, within 2 years, you can own your own house with no interest repayment. And this offer gives you affordable payment plans, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle choice. And you also get to choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of the Lakeside Hills clusters. So your future awaits. Just imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without a burden of interest. Well, as a CMJ Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. All you have to do is to call us today. The number to call is 020-477-5042. 020-477-5042. Or 020-477-5040. 020-477-5040. Or 050-1418-622. 050-1418-622. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour of our available homes. Lakeside Estates, quality homes for all. The song in the background, Bruno Mars, 24K Magic. All right, very soon we get into our market trends conversation this morning. And Emmanuel Boating, our in-house economic analyst, will be joining me. The Bank of Ghana released the summary of economic and financial data May 2025. And that is for the last month. I want to look at some of the issues in there, some of the things they highlighted. I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up the rocket. An interesting one is that mobile money transactions hit 365 billion Ghana cedis in April 2025. About a 3.8% increase, month-on-month increase, from 351.7 billion in March. What does that mean? What are the things influencing this particular increase? Is it the e-levy that was scrapped? We're going to look at all of that very soon. So please take and stay with us here on the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. We will be right back. Enjoy this one.
This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
China wako high card ya. Do masa packing emfa. Hey, I'm gonna do some kind love you. Share, be me jai nonka. Ode o last akoji golden kili. Share, o shave ha oma. Simple, semi pie na minyendu fia. Oye ne den onda. She know the sin of them, but I'm a bem. And papa them crash, you know give it them. Oh my own my bem, oh come a sem. The via o my film, you don't want my kumem. Yeah, oh don't know that phone boko. Sa CD. Team fat, na my polish it nice. I'm an area what day.
Girl, you blow my mind. I go for the way you do. Cause I think about love that time and all the things you do. Girl, you make out a Rico. You make a Rico. Girl, you make out a Rico. You make a Rico. Se me decía otra, camerenia. Camerenia, opa, camerenia. Se me decía opa, camerenia. Camerenia, opa.
Kwashuni mikoko osombo crash and gold kama jibi sebe dodo mema undi ya bobo sound coming home me feel so cold manu broko asu bobo meji me do ayo show we go blow control men's roll you be miss flow you make a nice up you make a rise up you be my life bulb when you want light up spice up my life more why I go the lie yo my god flow king say me do say so
girl you make a Rico you make a Rico. Girl, you make a Rico. You make a Rico. Se me decía otra, camerenia. Camerenia, opa, camerenia. Se me decía opa, camerenia. Camerenia, opa, camerenia.
Yo, what up, you already know.
Yo, what's up? The name is Akwabwa, and you guys are listening to ZFM 101.9. Charlie, big no change, else me than you.
I want to flex my love. I want to impress. And I want to carry my love away to a place she loves. I'm man. I want to impress. And I want to carry my love away to a place she loves. Yo, what up? You don't want to find my trouble. Enter bathroom, fresh up. She knows you come when your heartbreak, push and she heartbreak. Now me the bike dinner for your mind, then. Enter bathroom, fresh up. I want to flex my love, and I want to carry my love away to a place she loves. I'm a man, and I want to carry my love away to a place she loves.
This one's for the one in love, and for the one who's found that one that plays no one above. I some many copina, I worry for the more I'm a chimpina. So that was the word to me, the one tonight. This one is for y'all. na tete mia chachi miama Nichima ya mido Inti wadawu koi Minye deni Midena Zoni wa midano Uwa dindi ane bekumi ya mama Fawa kaya tiae Minye deni Inti midawu koi ya minye deni Oh yeah Ogo Hey Missy Ogo Midena Eni ameu Hey Na Missy meu
Zed 101.9
I can't believe she's
FM.
leaving. I can't believe it's already midnight. I can't believe we at the airport. I can't believe she's about to take flight. She's leaving on the jet plane, and I don't know if she'll be back again, and it's driving me insane. And though I try to be your man, it's not easy for me to watch her go. Now I know today is never promised tomorrow. Oh, hey, hey, do you pray me? I didn't cry. Look, I shut London with so we need me. Come on, let me cry.
Zed 101.9 FM.
All right, this is a business breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nitrebi Hammond. All right, a special happy birthday going out to Montana. Happy birthday to you, Montana. And this is from your brother, Denito. Happy birthday. He says, may God bless you so much. And in the voice note that he sent, he said that you've done so much for him and he can't quantify it. He can't give you money in return. He doesn't know what to do for you. But I should wish you a happy birthday for him, for all the good things that you continue to do for him, what you have done for him. He said you've come through for him in times of hardship. And happy birthday to you, Montana. From Denito, your cousin, your brother. Says he loves you so much. Happy birthday to you.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zoni wa metano Uwa dindi ane bekumi ya mama Fawa kaya tiae Minye deni oh yeah Minye deni oh yeah
Hey, everybody put your hands up high and waving from side to side. If you ever have tears in your eyes because you had to say goodbye, everybody put your hands up high and waving from side to side. If you ever have tears in your eyes because you had to say goodbye.
Zed 101.9 FM.
One and place no one above. I saw many copping that. I worry for the more I'm a crimping that. So the first word to me, no one tonight. Hey, this one is for you.
All right, welcome to our market trend segment here on the Business Breakfast on Zed, where we break down the numbers that matter to you. This morning, we're talking about the latest summary of economic and financial data that has been released just yesterday by the Bank of Ghana for April 2025. And there's a lot to unpack in there, from a significant surge in mobile money transactions to a surprising rebound of the CD. The data, this particular data offers some key insights into our economic pulse as a nation. And joining me now is our in-house economic analyst, Emmanuel Boateng, to help us make sense of what the numbers actually mean for business, for consumers, and the economy at large. Ima, good morning and welcome to the Business Breakfast on Zed.
Good morning, and good morning to our listeners as well.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you. Well, let's begin with the overall economic climate. What actually stood out for you in this latest BOG report? Do you see any signs of some stability or concern that we should note?
Very well, and thank you. Good morning, and thank you once again for having me. Several key developments can be found in this May 2025 report by the Bank of Ghana. It paints a very mixed but increasingly hopeful picture for our economy. Now, about the signs of encouraging stability, the first I would want to note is the continued disinflation trend. It's a very positive signal, a significant positive one, and especially headline inflation for April 2025 stood around 21.2. That is what we have, and it came down from 25% a year ago. So in April 2024, our headline inflation was 25%. As we speak, it's 21.2%, and I think that is a very good trend that we've noticed. Of course, we see it go up sometimes, but generally we've seen a downward trajectory over time. And this is an indication that a general increase in prices is gradually coming down, it's slowing down, which is a welcome news for consumers.
Right.
And I think that is significant to note. Of course, I would also touch on the CD to dollar battle, otherwise called the exchange rate. There has been a noteworthy appreciation of the CD, especially in May 2025. As of May 21st, the dollar to CD exchange rate improved to 11.85 from 14.1 in April, and that is a substantial short-term gain. A substantial short-term gain, and all of us are glad about that. We are very happy to see that. But of course, the big questions remain. What is driving the stability? What is driving the appreciation? Is it sustainable? And the rest of them. Those are other conversations to have. Then our gross international reserve. We've seen it building up continuously. It has reached 10.6 billion, 10.67 billion of April 2025, which translates into 4.7 months of import cover. And that is very significant. Very, very significant. You know, some of us remember back in the day when we had to run to the IMF, our import cover was in weeks. It was not even up to a month.
Right.
And so for us to be seeing 4.7 months of import cover, it means that we have been doing well. And our international reserve is $10.67 billion. And that is important to know. This strengthens our external buffer. We also see positive, albeit some modest real GDP growth recorded for 2023 at 3.1%. If you take the non-oil GDP growth, that is 3.6%. And the Bank of Ghana's Composite Index of Economic Activity, what we call the CIEA, also shows real annual growth of 2.3% as of March 2025. When you put all these together, these are signs of encouraging stability. Signs of encouraging stability. Of course, I have not touched on some other things like our trade balance and the rest of them, but these are signs of encouraging stability. Then, if there are areas of concern to note, I mean, it's important. You see, despite these improvements, I think when you look at our financial sector, specifically our banking sector, the non-performing loans in the banking sector remains elevated at 23.6% as of April 2025. It is a risk to credit growth and financial stability that needs careful management. It needs careful management. That is an issue of asset quality. Non-performing loans would mean that banks have given out loans to customers or their clients who have defaulted on those loans, or those loans are not being used for what they ought to be, and they are not generating the income that is needed to pay down on them. And so once the loans are not performing, it deteriorates the assets of these companies, and therefore there is a need for recapitalization. And therefore, this is a significant risk to credit growth and financial stability, and it needs to be managed well. But I must
Right.
also add that
Just before that, when you talk about the non-performing loans, I'm looking at the data right now.
Yes.
And I'm seeing that it's been increasing since the beginning of the year.
Yes.
So we see 22.6 in January. Then it was still at 22.6 in February, 23.4 in March. So we see an increase there, about 1.2 percent increase, and also then now we see 23.6, so 0.2% increase in there. What does that mean, really?
It is a combination of factors, because different banks do different things. And to explain it well, the non-performing loans essentially is showing us how much of the total loans that a company has given out is underperforming. When a loan is underperforming, you see, typically when you give out loans to customers, it is the way banks make their money or they get their income. There is something called, or what is the interest on the loan. So those who take their loans are supposed to pay the interest on their loan and then the principal over time. If they are not able to pay the interest and the principal, that loan is non-performing, in simple sense. That is what it means. And so if we are seeing it rising, then it means that the banks are at risk.
Right.
Because this is what the banks do. They are intermediaries. Someone who, let's call that person a surplus spending unit. That person has more money than they currently need, like yourself. They have more money than they need right now. So they will take their money and take it to the bank to go and deposit it, either as savings, either as investments, etc. I mean, if it's investment, something else, but as savings, it's in the account.
Right.
Then another person, say me, a deficit spending unit, I need more money than I currently have. I go to the bank for a loan. So the bank is playing an intermediary role, and because I am coming to the bank for a loan, I will be charged something for the risk to compensate for the risk, because they are giving money to me to go and use to work. Because loans are not given for unnecessary things, of course. They are given for very important things, for real sector growth and the rest of them. So essentially businesses and the rest of them. Now, that interest that is charged, a part of it goes to the bank, and a part of it is given to you, the surplus spending unit, the one who took your money to the bank to deposit. You see, you'll be getting some interest on that money. So when me, the one who has come for the loan, is unable to pay that interest and the money I have borrowed, then it means that loan has underperformed. I've defaulted on that loan. And that is a risk to the bank, because they will not be able to make their income. And when you go to the bank for your money, there will be trouble. There will be trouble with the bank. So that is a very serious issue. And since it is rising, when you look at it, I think maybe let's take it from September 2024. It was 24. Let's take it from maybe
22.8.
Yes, the non-performing loans 22.3. So even that 22.8, September 2024, 22.8.
Yes.
And then October, it moved down a bit to 22.7. Yes. Then November, it came down 21.8. Then December, it remained at 21.8. Yeah. Then January, it shot up to 22.6. February, it was maintained at 22.6. Then March, we did 23.4. And then April, 23.6. So you can see the increase right from September. But of course, it's important to note that it was higher. It was higher the same time last year. April 2024, non-performing loans was 25.7%.
Yeah.
And so if you compare that, you would realize that it's better, but it's still high. It's better, but still high. So that is an interesting thing to note, that despite improvement that we are seeing, the banking sector maintains, has a relatively high non-performing loan, and it's a credit risk, or it's a risk to the credit growth and financial stability that needs careful management.
I see. What does that mean? Maybe specifically, what does that mean to business owners or anybody at all that is interested in anything related to the banking sector?
Well, what happens like that I mean, typically the banks will do their own assessment. Before loans are given out, there is a rigorous process.
Okay.
And so banks know exactly who has defaulted on the loan and which sectors they are coming from. And so it impacts the lending activities of the bank to such sectors and such individuals. Of course, this is like the conversation we were having the other time. That one, it was from countries, and Ghana restructuring it. You see how Ghana pays high because of our credit rating.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Such people will be charged higher. Such sectors will face higher interest, or as it's called, prices for them to get a loan or a facility. That is how really it comes out. But the banks typically, if they are not able to cover these ones and they become bad debt, then the banks need to recapitalize. They need external financing to be able to sustain what they have to do. Because the one that has deposited their money doesn't care that somebody couldn't pay their loan. They will come for their money at a certain time in the future, and you will have to provide it for them. And sometimes some of these things, because loans, collaterals, and some things are involved, banks typically will do what they can to recover it. They'll go after them, seize their collaterals, put it on sale, etc., etc. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Very interesting. Now you're moving on to other things you want.
Yes,
to
I was
on
adding
before.
2 more points. That another area of concern is that yes, we've seen an appreciation of the cedi. However, it's important to remember that there was some volatility experienced in previous months. It is now that we are seeing it appreciated, but we need it to be stable.
Okay.
I have said time without number. Now, what we need is a stable currency. Stability is important. We don't need the currency to appreciate for some time and then we sleep and wake up one day, start depreciating again. You know, that cycle is not a good cycle. Goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. No, that's not a good cycle. We need stability. Stability induces proper planning. Stability induces proper projection. And that is what businesses do. Projection, planning, and the rest of them. As we sit here, we don't need speculation. Speculation doesn't run a good financial system. And that is why it is important to remember what our former president said. We don't need to do a lot of speculation. No, we don't need that. We need stability to plan. And so I am speaking directly to government. Good gains have been made in terms of how the city has been managed. But in addition to that, there must be good measures to, as it were, consolidate our gains and make sure that the gains that have been achieved remain stable and that the appreciation and the stability we are asking for is supported by the real sector. It's well substantiated by the fundamentals of our economy. Otherwise, we would go into that cycle of volatility, and we don't need that. We don't need volatility. Otherwise, a lot of businesses and individuals lose a lot. So stability is what we are calling for. And on the fiscal front, maybe I have to add that while a small primary surplus as a percentage of GDP was recorded in March 2025, 0.3%, primary surplus as a percentage of GDP, export-import issue. Consistent surpluses are needed to ensure debt sustainability. See, budget. The overall budget balance remained in a deficit. You see, our budget remains in a deficit as of March 2025.
Yeah.
We know it is a deficit of about 1% to GDP, 1% of GDP. So that is important. We need to be able to manage. There are issues around the fiscal front. So we have issues on foreign exchange, volatility. We've seen appreciation. That must be stabilized. We have concerns around non-performing loans, and on the fiscal front, these things have to be managed. In terms of policy implication, the current climate suggests that while policy measures are yielding some positive results, particularly on inflation and reserves, vigilance is paramount, is very, very important. And addressing the non-performing loan situation and ensuring sustained fiscal discipline are crucial for our long-term stability.
I see. There are lots of things in there to unpack. You mentioned a lot of things. If I want to stay on for a few minutes, then we have to we need to get a lot more time. But how would you describe the direction of our macroeconomic performance based on this particular data? Are we seeing some recovery, resilience, or maybe more volatility?
I'll choose my words carefully at this point. I would describe the general direction of Ghana's macroeconomic performance based on this data as one of cautious recovery and emerging resilience, though elements of volatility persist.
Okay.
Recovery. You see, the declining inflation, the positive real GDP growth for 2023, and the improvement in the trade balance, which recorded a surplus of about $4.1 billion by April 2025, are indicative of a recovery phase. Consumer confidence also saw an uptick to 103.6 in April 2025 from 90.2 as at the end of December 2024. Why did I say resilience? The ability to absorb shocks and demonstrate growth, even if modest, points to underlying resilience. And the consistent growth in mobile money transactions, for instance, highlights a dynamic domestic sector adapting to new technologies. The banking sector's total assets also showed real growth. And that is, putting all these together is why I am noting that there is resilience. But why did I say volatility persists? The exchange rate movement, particularly the sharp appreciation in May, following, you see, usually these appreciations should be gradually sustained. It should be gradual and it should be a sustained increase. But when it becomes sharp like that, then they are concerned.
Okay.
Especially when it was following periods of depreciation earlier in the year and late last year. It underscores remaining volatility. Similarly, interest rates on government securities have seen significant shifts, with the 91-day Treasury bill rate dropping dramatically to about, I think, 15% or so in April 2025 from 28.37 in January. You can imagine, 28% in January, 15% in April. 4 months. Wow. About 13 percentage point decrease. Yeah. Wow. That is concerning. Anyway, let me add my policy implication because at the end of the day, we want to speak to government. The task really is to nurture the recovery by reinforcing measures that build resilience. This means consistent monetary and fiscal policies. And of course, today, Monetary Policy Committee will let us know what is going to happen to the monetary policy rate. Yeah. Well, I expect that it will be maintained, if not for anything at all. Yeah, the worst case scenario would be that they would reduce it. But why am I calling it worst case scenario? If I see any swing, it may be a reduction, but I expect that it will be maintained. I'll really be surprised if it's increased, and I want to know why. You see, so monetary and fiscal policies are needed to be able to dampen the volatility and create a predictable, I've said that, predictable economic environment for businesses and individuals. We need predictability. People don't know what to do. People don't know what to use their CD for. People are just confused. And we don't need that. Speculations are not good. They don't drive an economy. And for the public and businesses, you see, the environment calls for strategic planning and managing expectations as well. If you don't manage your expectations, this is not God, because it's only God that says that the expectations of the righteous will not be cut short. In Ghana, the expectations could be cut short, but you need to be able to manage your expectations, as the recovery path may not always be smooth.
Okay. All right. I would want us to also talk about the mobile money transactions. Now, from what I see, from the data that I see, maybe we should just pay attention to that briefly. And okay, let me retrieve that data for the mobile money transactions. Okay, so I see that there's mobile money transactions for the month of April. hit 365 billion Ghana cedis.
Exactly.
And that is a huge figure. But what has it been from the months prior, or maybe we can look at it on year, and also we can break it down. Now I'm seeing that this year it started with 3.3, and also then it increased a bit by 3 to 3.16.
No, 333 billion to 300.
Oh, sorry. Yes, 333. Yes.
And it fell
billion.
Actually.
Yes,
February, it fell.
that's true. It fell in February to 316. Okay.
Possibly because there are 28 days in February.
Okay, maybe that could also be a factor.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
No, maybe. I mean, of course, because if there were more days, maybe we would have seen some transactions on those days as well. So it could be. But then we see in March. In March, we see an increase, a huge, about 40, maybe about 39 thereabout percentage points, and in March it was 351.7 billion, and now we are seeing 365 billion increase in there. Maybe you can help us understand what is actually fueling this consistent growth. And what does it really say about our financial ecosystem? Could e-levy be one of them, the scrapping of the e-levy?
Hey, my boss. You want us to work on troubled water?
Oh, no. You know that was one of the arguments. A lot of people say people stopped doing transactions because there was e-levy and all of that. And now that is being taken off. Maybe because we are seeing an increase.
For us, we may have to, as it were, find a way to measure e-levy, run a regression, and have our results. If our result is backed by some empirical data, we can conclude that, e-levy had a role to play. You see, between April 2024 and April 2025, the value of mobile money transactions have moved from 203 billion Ghana cedis to 365 billion Ghana cedis. That is 79.8% increase, almost 80% increase. It's a very serious figure. We've seen about 80% increase in the value of mobile money transactions between 2024 and 2025. That is if you take April. It increased from, April 2024, 203 billion. It went to 234 billion in May. Then in June, it fell to 224. It increased again in July to 264. Increased further in August to 273 billion. Then in September, increased further 284 billion. Then in October, it increased further 298. Then in November, further increased to 316 billion. Then at the end of the year, it increased further to 334 billion. Then January this year, 333 billion. So you see, the reason why I say we have to run a regression is if you look at the past, you will see that the periods I mentioned, that is April 2024 through to December 2024, these periods were periods of e-levy. I hope I'm right on that.
Yeah.
And all these periods saw increases. In fact, between April 2024 and December 2024, it had increased from 203 billion to 334 billion. And when you compare 334 billion to 365 billion, which we have now, the difference is just about 31 billion. And so if you look at it carefully, that is why I'm saying that it may not be okay.
Necessarily because of the
Yes, it may not be. Because, in fact, if you look at February 2025, it even reduced to 316. But the big question is, when did e-levy set in? E-levy set in between February and March. I should think so.
Yeah.
I'll get the date for you.
Yeah, I'm also trying to get it.
And if you want to make a case with e-levy at all, I think it will be a weak case, especially because it's too short a time to make an analysis.
It was actually April 2. So 2nd April. Yes.
2nd April.
Yes.
Okay. And
that
you
was
can
when
see
President Mahama signed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The difference between March and April is just about how many?
No, but
15 billion, 14.3 billion.
14.3?
Yeah. March was 351.7 and April is 365. That's 14.3 billion. Or 13.3, sorry, 13.3 billion.
Well, then it means that if we want to, I mean, if that's anything to go by, then we have to wait for the data for today. Exactly.
Yes,
for this month.
So
then we can.
But the point I was making is that when you look at the behavior, in fact, if you go back to 2023, 2022 and look at it, the truth is that mobile money transaction, the value has been increasing over time.
Over time.
It has an increasing trend. In fact, when you look at the graph, I'm sure you've seen the graph as well. When you look at the graph, you would also note that mobile money transactions, the value of mobile money transactions has been increasing.
Increasing, that's true.
January 2023.
Yeah.
It's on an increase. The trend is upwards. That graph is moving up.
Okay.
And it's not just number of transactions has that trend. Registered agents has that trend. Registered mobile money accounts have that trend. It is only the active mobile money account that maybe one day I'll talk about it. See, my brother, it will interest you to note that there are 75 million registered mobile money accounts. Out of that, only 24 million are active. 1 out of 3 registered mobile money accounts are active in Ghana. That's a very interesting trend.
Very interesting trend. People don't have money.
Very. I don't know. I don't know. But it's likely people have multiple accounts and they specifically usually one.
Well,
I know friends who have mobile money accounts on their MTN. I think they have Telecel too, but they typically would be using one.
One of them. That's true.
Maybe all of these things play a role. I don't know.
Okay.
It's just to make the point that if you are celebrating, you must celebrate with the active account, not just the fact that people have open accounts. Maybe they also need a regulation. You know, for banks, if your account is dormant, I think for a year, they'll reach out to you and all of those things before they are able to. There's something that is done to dormant accounts eventually close.
Yeah.
And the likes of them. Yeah. So maybe they need some regulations around that to deal with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 365 billion Ghana cedis worth of mobile money transactions recorded in April 2025 is a testament to a profound transformation in our financial landscape, especially given the trend of how these transactions have been growing. And, it shows increased accessibility and convenience. We know mobile money offers unparalleled ease of access to financial services for a large segment of the population, particularly those who were previously not within the banking system and who were underserved. Today, you sit in your room and you make an order. You make an order for anything online. You pay with mobile money. In fact, sometimes you order for something, they bring it here. You pay on delivery, but you don't even use cash. You still send mobile money. And the way it has been helpful. We also see an expanding agent network. The number of registered agents reached 911,000 by April 2025, making services readily available across the country. Number of agents, mobile money agents, 911,000. I will not be surprised if by end of year we hit 1 million plus. And we are also seeing growing user base. Number of registered accounts totaled 75.2 million, like I was speaking to earlier, although active accounts are just 24 million. And mobile money today is no longer just for person-to-person transfers. It's increasingly used for bill payments. People use to pay their bills.
Yeah.
It's also used for merchant payments. People are using it also for savings, loans, insurance, and it is deepening the utility around it. How useful it is becoming. We can see that it is growing. Another one has to do with mobile money interoperability. I think it's one of the things that the former vice president is known for. Enhanced interoperability between mobile money platforms and traditional bank accounts. It has created a somewhat seamless financial ecosystem. And I think that achievement by the government of Ghana was very imperative for all of us. And it's something that must be commended. You see, sometimes we don't commend mobile money because we don't even know what is happening elsewhere. Elsewhere within Africa, it's not as we have it here. Not as we have it here. And the Bank of Ghana has also played a very crucial role in fostering innovation while ensuring stability in the digital financial services space. What does this say about our financial ecosystem? We are seeing deepening financial inclusion. When you go to the tertiary institutions, one of the ways they measure financial inclusion is through mobile money. Mobile money is a powerful engine for bringing more Ghanaians into the formal financial ecosystem. So it's deepening financial inclusion. And it's showing a shift toward a digital economy. It signifies a decisive move away from cash-based transactions towards a more efficient digital-first economy. And it is also indicative of an innovation hub. Ghana is emerging as a leader in fintech adoption within the sub-Saharan African region. And that is very, very important. Maybe the last thing I'll add is an enhanced economic efficiency. Digital payments reduce transaction costs, although in themselves they have transaction costs. It improves transparency and can also boost commerce, and that is key. For our policy makers, I would always want to end with you. This growth explains the need for continuous investment in digital infrastructure, and I've seen the cry of many on X and the rest of them. The cost of data is high, and many of these things, for you to use them, and you need to surf the internet, and maybe we need to look at that. And sometimes some of these telecommunication networks, I've seen a lot of friends complain about how we are lagging behind in terms of even data usage, data accessibility, and the rest of them. Sometimes it doesn't go very fast, and it frustrates people. I think we need a lot of investment in digital infrastructure, a lot of investment in cybersecurity. I'm sure you've heard the MTN Mobile issue that happened recently. I think another one too. We need some cybersecurity investment. We need some digital literacy programs as well. There must be some investment in these areas. If people are not digitally literate, it as it were, reduces the level of adoption and also creates issues for us. A lot of people are bullied with their mobile money transaction. You know, these scammers can call you. I get those calls often, and it looks like they know exactly the points where money hits your mobile money account. Last week, I got 3 calls. 3 calls from 3 people. Different. In fact, I'm surprised. Now, females are also packed. I thought it used to be. Yes, I got a call from a female who wanted to scam me. And usually when they start asking you those unnecessary questions, for me, I just hang up and block you. And she called with another number.
Wow.
That is not gentleman. Why would you block me? I said, I have sent you some money. I was like, my friend, you've not sent me any money. If you sent me any money, call MTN. And then I just hung up and blocked the other number as well. And it's getting surprising.
Yeah, it's a serious threat. I think we need a lot more education in that regard.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't know that these people are scammers. I think some people are too kind.
And
the
they
moment
engage,
someone calls them and say, oh, I've sent some money. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm very sorry. Then they just, somebody was telling me to turn off my phone and turn it on and dial some food. I was like, I can't see what I said.
You know, a lot of people are falling victim to this. And
sometimes I scare them. I tell them my uncle is Dampari. And we deal with them, and then they hang up.
I see. All right, let's maybe I have just some few minutes. Maybe my last question to you will be that.
Let me just conclude on this.
Okay.
Because of what we are seeing, businesses should know that mobile money is staying. It's not like it has come to stay. It's already staying. And so they should change their consumer payment preferences and leverage on digital platforms for growth. I remember sometime I went to a certain shop, I bought something, they said they don't take mobile money.
Your gobe joint that you've been talking about.
Oh, gobe. Hey, do you want to? It's a national application.
They have to start taking mobile.
They have to. Oh, but they do. They do. Those are the person who said it didn't take mobile. I think it was not even or something electronic device.
Yeah, I see. All right. So we can see that there's a growth in float balances, which is about 28.2 billion. Should we be concerned about liquidity risks or maybe some regulatory gaps in the mobile money space?
The 28.2 billion Ghana cedis in mobile money float balances as of the end of April 2025 is a significant sum representing the collective value of customer funds that are held in mobile money accounts. So when we add all of us, our mobile balances, this is what it stands for.
Yeah.
Good. Now,
so we can see that there's been an increase as well.
You mean in that figure?
Yes, in that figure. Like, so from January, we've seen an increase in that figure. So 26.3, 27.9 in February.
20.1.
Yes, in March, and then 28.2.
Or in fact, since April last year was 19.3 billion.
Okay,
yeah,
then we began to see some increase.
Exactly.
Then it dipped a bit in July 2024. Then it began to pick up again, and there's been increasing since.
When you look at the trend analysis, you see that it has grown over time. We see some fluctuations at some point, but it has grown about 46% increase between last year April and then this year April.
So
from 19.3
people have money.
to 20. People have money
on their mobile money.
yeah. So these are liquidity concerns. You know, I didn't even know you asked such a question. Yesterday I was there. I was thinking of a research question. If in the past there used to be a lot of susu, how was it impacting the money supply in the Ghanaian economy and contributing to inflation? But of course, I can't measure that, so I just took that out of my mind.
Right.
You see, the primary liquidity risk is that mobile money operators must always be able to meet customer demands for cash out.
Okay.
Or fund transfers. I'm sure you've gone to somewhere and then
you say we don't have money. Yes.
How painful it can be. Really, really how painful it can be. So that's a liquidity risk. And then, how do we mitigate this? In Ghana, the Bank of Ghana's regulations are quite stringent. Mobile money operators are required to hold 100% of their float in trust with commercial banks. This means the actual funds are safeguarded in the banking system, not held directly by the MMOs, mobile money operators, for their operational use. And so this significantly mitigates the risk of the mobile money operators being able to pay out. So that is the way that the regulations address this issue.
Okay.
And then the commercial banks holding these trust accounts must also manage their own liquidity effectively. And when you're a mobile money operator and you don't know that you are supposed to keep that in trust at the commercial bank, I think that it is for your own good. Imagine it is on your Momo, your merchant SIM, and then you are hacked. That will collapse your business outrightly. And I think that for us as a country, our financial system is key. It is the way we manage liquidity and the rest of that. So it's very important. And what are the regulatory gaps? Ghana has a relatively well-developed regulatory framework for mobile money and digital financial services. You know, often cited as a model in the Sub-Saharan African region. Our Payment Systems and Services Act 2019, I think it's Act 987 or so. It provides a comprehensive legal basis for our Momo digital payment system and all of that. And I think it's a good act that we have. And like I told you, it's like a benchmark, a model of best fit in the African region. But of course, continuous oversight is needed. The space is highly dynamic, it's changing, rapid innovation here and there in the product, entry of new players and evolving risks like cyber security threats, like we are talking about, fraud and AML, CFT concerns. It means that the regulatory framework cannot be static. It needs to be evolving as well. Because you see, these fraud guys and the cyber security guys, they keep on changing their ways. They keep on changing it. You know, in the past, they used to send you messages that cash in receive, and you see a lot of spelling mistake in there.
Sometimes I wonder.
Yeah. I told the guy that, you know something, even if you wanted to get me, you shouldn't have made a spelling mistake. Because mine is not OCD, but I'm very particular about how words are spelled.
Yeah.
And so if you make a spelling mistake, that alone demotivates me to even want to be scammed. To allow myself to be scammed, you need to make sure you are on point with your grammar.
Right.
But they make a lot of spelling mistakes.
In the thing.
Cut in receive, wrong spelling,
right?
and all of those things. But now they've moved away from that. They don't do that. And you can see they keep on changing. So the regulatory body must also be dynamic in its way. And we know that the Bank of Ghana is actively involved in supervising the sector, as evidenced by the detailed data that they publish. The data that Bank of Ghana gives us alone is enough evidence of the kind of work they are putting in there. But what am I saying? The key is adaptive regulation, ensuring that rules evolve with the market. Rules evolve with the dynamics in the market. That is very, very important. And I've said it with time without number. Areas of ongoing attention, cybersecurity. As transaction volumes and values grow, the importance of robust cybersecurity measures for these MMOs and partner banks cannot be overstated. We need to pay attention to that. And then consumer protection, clear dispute resolution mechanisms, data privacy and protection against fraud are critical for maintaining user trust. And I think occasionally the telcos must publish some of the rights of customers, the duties they have towards customers, and the rest of them. See, they must let customers know. You know, sometimes you call MTN and you have issues, and they ask you some questions, some key questions before they do some transactions and the rest of them. Some customers don't, and MTN fails to ask some key questions. What is your mother's maiden name? And, you know, I think they have some questions. What is your favorite color? Some key questions that when you were opening the account and some things, they've asked you, and they have that already. Your date of birth and the rest of them. If they don't, they fail, and then all of a sudden they help you. Oh, they've done damage to you. But I think for purposes of education, of course, we are talking about it, but the telcos can also publish some of these things for their customers to know and their clients to know that, oh, these things are important, especially because of the surge in cybersecurity issues, the surge in fraud, money laundering, and the rest of them. And the rest of them. So, policy-wise, while the current framework provides strong safeguards, the Bank of Ghana must continue its proactive stance in monitoring the sector, identifying emerging risks, and updating regulations as needed, and regular stress testing of the system, and ensuring that the MMOs and partner banks adhere to all prudential guidelines are necessary. And for consumers, while the system is robust, maintaining good digital hygiene, like protecting your pins, is always important. You know, there are some people who are giving their pins to 3,000 people, and after that they fail to change it. It's not helpful. It's really not helpful.
Right. Ima, thank you very much for your time. It's been a very long one because this report is very, very important. And thanks so much for making time to speak to us this morning.
You're welcome.
Please
You're
enjoy
welcome.
the rest of your day.
You too.
All right. That was Emmanuel Boateng, our economic analyst here at Zed. And he has broken down a lot of things for us this morning from the report that was released yesterday by the Bank of Ghana in line with our financial and economic position as a country. And a lot of things have been discussed. If you missed the interview, you can visit our YouTube platform at Zed Multimedia, and then you can have you can look at it. And also on Facebook at ZFMGH, we're streaming live there. You want to visit and listen to some of the analysis. Very, very important. All right. So very soon we'll get into our roundtable discussion. Very, very important conversation this morning. We're talking about depression. How you can manage it, how you can identify it, and all of that. Very, very important conversation you don't want to miss. So please, we'll take a quick music break. When we return, my guest will join me, and then we talk about something that is affecting a lot of people. Stay tuned.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio. This is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM.
Bad guys in the beating, by the way. Na 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 na
101.9 FM.
See what I go, what I shot, what I slim, what I fat, what I like skin or melanin. Baby, step in a circle and dance to the beat. What I Angelique Kidjo, Monica Benedicta or Caro, or maybe Mancheri Coco. Baby, step in a circle and dance to the beat. Show body, show body, show body, my African lady. Show body, show body, show body, my African lady. Oh, bad body, panty, the tum tum, and you dancing with the Richie Messa instrument. My bass in the boom boom, you rolling with a rock star, no be boom 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 boom. Check it for your man, oh, Juliana. Break it for your hand, oh, Maria. Check it for your hand, oh, Juliana. Break it for your hand, oh, Maria.
Yeah, Nana, you for move like a this. Body so bad, make us speak Japanese. Konnichiwa, wa ginger the flow. Nana, Baba never seen that before. Walai, Chai, you for slow down now. Where you program that? How you move your hand around like a pole dancer? The most sought after. She call the cut my eye. But I fear to talk, she mami what I find. See, Kele no be issue. I get beauty queens down in Mogadishu. So talk better make her feel you. Or make her get to step in if I need to. I get busy. Wait now, I'm just playing. Small play, you want to turn to rough. Bad guy, Kwame Eugene. This way do when you get on, you stop. Oh yeah.
Show body, my African lady. Show body, my African lady. Oh, bad body, panty, the tum tum, and you dancing with the Richie Messa instrument. My baby in the boom boom, you rolling with a rock star, no be boom 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 boom. Check it.
101.9 FM.
Juliana, break it for your hand, oh, Maria. Check it for your hand, oh, Juliana. Break it for your hand, oh, Maria.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
No grace matia shimu. As you say me wa mani o. Bini me nchai mami so gumu. Bise na mi kura ne me santo so. Mi chia embe. Aya mi se bibi kure mudi o. One ma koma so ma die. Eti aya nchitwi wo. Ode, wo ba do me ya do me preko. Ode. Wo ba do me ya do me preko. Ode. I want fe me fa hold on to do. Ode. Family women no don't chicho. Me de. Go better me hard on me prego. Ode. Go better me hard on me prego. Ode. I want them forward on to do. Ode. And family women no don't chicho. Me de. Sanka kumati sebo frea. Anka me pay one my way. Odom ruswana ma boni bedei. My way through. All the pictures I they take before try to paint my love for you. Don't you hear what them they say? I go love you, make me shame the devil. Why you for hold me like your own, now and forever. I want them forward on to do. And family women who don't chicho. Go better me hard on me prego. Ode. Go better me hard on me prego. Ode. I want them forward on to do. Ode. And family women who don't chicho.
I'm in love with this cute chick. She drives me on like the Q6. I'm in the wild fantasies, the titties. I'm from the city that make you dance to the music. You know I treat you so well. Been fantasizing about you being my girl. So when I had the chance to cast the spell, I said someone like you or someone like Adele. So tell the world to go to hell. I'm the man on fire, Denzel. I'll buy you shoes, diamonds and pearls, upper class tickets, see around the world. we now per day, or don't you see kappa, into see the bay, so go ne mape, so go nobody or do was the Canada, yeah,
All right, welcome back. 7 minutes after 9. This is the Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trebi Hammond. Very, very important conversation this morning. Today, on our roundtable discussion, we are looking at a topic or something that touches every boardroom, every startup, every creative desk, and even kitchen table, whether we acknowledge it or not. So we're talking about depression today and how to deal with it. Very, very important. Now, this is not a conversation we typically hear in professional and investment circles, but it's actually should be, because the truth is that behind many polished resumes and performance reports, people are silently struggling. And according to the research, globally, over 280 million people live with depression. Over 280 million people live with depression. And in Ghana, more than 1 in 5 adults deal with psychological distress. And many never get help. So today we're bringing the silence to the table. And we're talking depression. And we're doing it with people who know this particular space intimately. Our guests are psychologists. I have Abigail Yeboah, who's a clinical psychologist and data assessor, and at UGMS Department of Psychiatry, and also Robertson David Infojo, who's also a clinical psychologist. All right, so we'll start with Robertson. I understand that Abigail will join us very, very soon, and then we have further conversations. All right, Robertson, good morning. Welcome to the Business Breakfast on Zed.
Good morning. It's good to be back again.
Yeah, great to have you. You probably might just want to get closer to your microphone a bit.
Okay. Okay. Is it better now?
Relatively. Just that the place is echoing a bit.
It echoes a bit. Then
okay.
Let me put. How about now? Is it better now?
Relatively. I think we can manage. Okay, but thank you very much for making time to be here this morning. Depression is something very huge, and this Mental Health Awareness Month, we decided to throw some light on that because a lot of people are going through it, and we need to have conversations about that. Let me start this way. What exactly is depression?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to say a very good morning to your listeners, and we are going to learn a lot, as you made mention earlier. But I wouldn't want to just right away zoom into the concept or the topic called depression. First, I would want to talk a little bit about the procedure that people go through before they get to that state. And to also answer the question, depression, we should be thinking around what kind or type of depression are we talking about here? Yes, so mostly before someone will become depressed or even experience any of these things like anxiety and stress and the rest, it all has to do with the person's thought patterns, how the person thinks. Now, the way you think influences your behavior. And your behavior also influences how you think.
Okay.
So let's take it as someone who was very happy, an easy to go person. Then one day, the person starts conceptualizing these thoughts in the head that nobody likes me, I'm useless, I have no value. I mean, he walks into a place and people are laughing and he goes, oh, they are laughing about me. It's because of me. It's because of the dress I wore. And no, because of the way I was walking. Now, persistent thoughts in this manner, you will see the person gradually, withdrawing from people, the person keeping to himself, the person no more keeping hygiene, the person not wanting to associate with people again. And when this pattern continues, that is where we can say, okay, the person is on the journey to depressing land, just as we have Wonderland. So we can say the person is on the, on the road to depressing land. Now, it continues for, let's say, a number of months or years, and the person arrives at this land called depression. Most often, I like to say that depression should just is a generic name, just as we have paracetamol as a generic name for different brands of paracetamol as we can have. So I prefer to call it the generic name that we often give. But to talk of depression, we have different types of depression. So just to mention a few before the other speaker comes in, we have the most common one that we often know, which is the major depressive disorder. That is the clinical depression. That is what we call the clinical depression. And that one often comes with symptoms like feelings of sadness or emptiness, anhedonia, which we call loss of interest. So the person doesn't have interest in, let's say the person was a footballer, he loves to play football a lot. Now the person doesn't enjoy all those things. The person has difficulty in sleeping.
Okay.
There is that sudden change in appetite. We know that this person initially was not he was not a glutton, but suddenly the person is now eating and is becoming obese. Then it means the person, at that point, the person was on the journey. He or she has not reached the depressing land yet. But then sleep becomes a problem. The person finds it very difficult to sleep, or even sleeps a lot. So it's both sides. It's either the person is sleeping more or is not sleeping more. The same way the person is eating more or the person is not eating more.
Right.
Then there is that difficulty of concentrating.
Okay.
That feeling of guilt, worthlessness. I don't see any value in myself. I am useless. Such recurrent thoughts. That is how that. Yes.
I see. But how
yes.
How do we differentiate it from stress and also maybe sadness and burnout, especially in high performance professionals? How do we differentiate that?
So some people think when you go to work and they ask you how was work, the person goes like it's stressful. What makes it stressful? I had a lot of workload on me. No, that is not stress. But stress rather is a state of mind. The thinking patterns that you are, having, that is what puts stress on the body.
Okay.
That you raise your peripheral nervous system, where we have the fight or flight responses that responds to our stress. So my negative thoughts can be a negative stress. Okay. My positive thoughts can be a positive stress. So stress is good. We have the positive stress, which is the eustress, and then we have the negative stress, which often leads to us developing these psychological disorders. And then to mention others, we have the bipolar disorder, which is also previously in the DSM-4, it was called a manic depressive illness. And then a quite host of them. So I will not take all the glory. I would like the second speaker to also come in and
Absolutely. But thank you, Robertson. So just hold on for me briefly. Let me bring in Abigail Yeboah. Abigail Yeboah is also a psychologist and a data assessor at UGMS Department of Psychiatry. Abigail, welcome to the Business Breakfast on Zed.
Thank you. Good morning.
Right, good morning. So Robertson has said a lot of things about depression. Maybe if there's anything you want to add before I ask you other questions.
I think he has said most of it, but it's just Melissa that I want to add. I think because now knowledge is in abundance, right? So a lot of people know about depression, mental illness, and all that. So sometimes when somebody is feeling a little down, they go by, "Oh, I'm depressed." In fact, you are not depressed. You are just sad or you are feeling down. But depression is a very serious medical or mental condition that is not just about playing with words. So I think Robertson mentioned it. So the fact that you are feeling down, you are a bit sad, it doesn't mean that you are depressed, right? So I think our behavior of diagnosing ourselves, even when it comes to physical conditions, usually we self-diagnose. So if I have a headache, I have a fever, I can't eat, I will go by, oh, I have malaria, then I will just self-medicate. So I think we do the same when it comes to some of these mental health conditions. So like a day or two, you may feel sad, you may be feeling a bit down. It doesn't mean that you have depression.
Right.
So now for depression, this feeling has to be consistent for 2 weeks. So every day of the 2 weeks, you're feeling sad. Every day of the 2 weeks, you're feeling hopeless. Every day of the 2 weeks, you're feeling worthless. So when that happens, then even with that, it still has to be diagnosed clinically. So you just don't sit home and say, "Oh, I have." Robertson spoke about the types of depression. I think being a female, I want to talk about another type of depression that we are not very
we don't talk about enough.
Yeah, we don't talk about. So we have something we call the premenstrual dysphoric disorder.
Say that again.
So it's premenstrual dysphoric disorder.
Premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Yes. Okay, tell us about it.
Yes, in females. So in majority of as women, we have our menstrual cycles,
yes.
Right? So you have at least 5 symptoms of the depression at the final week before your onset of your menses, your period, and then the feeling seems to improve, and then it becomes minimal after your period. So most women do go through that stage. So during that stage, there's extreme mood swings.
Okay.
Right, very extreme mood swings, and then like you have all the symptoms of depression that Robertson mentioned earlier. You're feeling hopeless, you're feeling restless, you can't sleep, or you are eating too much. In fact, all the symptoms of depression, you have it, and then this is just during your period. So for that 7 or 5 or 4 or 3 days, you have it, and then it's the symptoms, they go down just after your period. So that's another form of depression that's usually we don't really talk about, but it's really there.
Oh, I see. Because I'm sure that there are a lot of ladies or a lot of women who go through this and they think that they are depressed. They think that they are really depressed. Maybe it's just so. Are we saying that this one is temporary? Right after your cycle, it goes away.
Yes, but then
by itself.
At every cycle. So every month.
Is that something people should be worried about?
Of course, it's also depression, so it's something people should be worried about.
So how do we avoid that?
How do we avoid that?
Yes.
I think we are going to get there in the course of the discussion. Right?
So you talk about this particular one because you mentioned it. I wanted to stay on that a bit, but if we'll come back to it, then that is fine. If you would want to talk about it later, that is totally fine. All right. So our audience are largely high professionals. How does depression show in their behaviors? I know it can vary from people to people. How does it in professionals? How do we see whether when we are depressed? And I'll ask you, Robert.
Okay, so since you made mention of, there is something I would like to talk about briefly, which we call the situational depression. The situational depression, sometimes called adjustment disorder with depressed mood. So as a professional, take it as I change job or I experience divorce in the work area, I sometimes tend to experience this type of depression. Now, one thing that would let you know that someone is experiencing depression, I think the first one is the individual's behavioral change. The individual's behavioral change. Now, Abigail is someone I know for a long time. So all of a sudden, I know Abigail doesn't like eating a lot. Then suddenly, Abigail is eating, and her eating is more than necessary. It raises a concern. Or Abigail eats all right, but then all of a sudden there is a drop in her eating. That is also a concern. Abigail is someone who would sleep in a day, let's say 8 hours, she gets her normal 8 hours sleep. Then suddenly she's sleeping more than necessary, or she's not sleeping at all. This is also a concern. Then another thing you can also find is interest. Abigail is someone I know loves to watch Korean movies a lot. Then suddenly, Abigail doesn't watch Korean movies again.
Okay.
Always listening to who would I say Celine Dion's music, or let me say these are old folk music, especially the ones that are you would look at it as awkward. To say something like that is not in a way to say it's not a good song, but this is the song that Abigail is listening to.
Okay.
But Abigail is someone who loves to listen to Black Sherif or Patapa, not in any way as an offense, but then there is all of a sudden no, it raises a concern.
Okay.
Is having a problem. We need to check on that. Now, in the professional setting, when we see that things that someone we work with used to do is doing it more or doing it less, then it's a big concern. What we know is things should be done in moderation.
Right.
If the person is not doing the things in moderation, then it means that immediately we need to get closer to the person, try to find out, or even if possible, recommend that go see a professional.
Okay.
So these are some of the things that will let you know what is actually happening. And I'm sure I will show more light on that as well.
Right. Abigail, would you want to add something to that? If not, we can move on.
Yes, so that happens out of the blue. So I mean, it builds up over time. So when one is exposed to work-related stress and they are not able to deal with it or manage it effectively, it can build up over time, and then it can lead to depression.
Right.
So one thing is when you start to notice that your work is stressing you out, then you can start to learn how to effectively manage the stress so that you wouldn't get to that point where you have depression. Right. So the moment you appraise that it's like you're putting in a lot of effort to get the results that you're looking for. I mean, initially, you seem to be having it easy with your job, with what you do, but now it seems like everything to you is an effort.
Right.
Right. So these are some of the things that you need to watch out for. Like you're going to work, you don't see it as work, you rather see it as a burden. Okay. In Ghana, most of the professionals, they don't really enjoy their work. They are there because I mean, it's the money.
For bread and butter
You need
at the
it,
end of the
right?
day. Yeah.
So the moment you realize, sometimes even your joy of going to work has greatly diminished.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that tells you that probably something else may be happening that you need to watch out for, right? So it doesn't just start all of a sudden, but
Okay.
the stress builds up over time, and then it can lead to depression.
I see. Right, we have very limited time, but there are a few things we want to touch. But just before that, if you just tuned in, this is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nietzsche Bihamon. Now, this morning we're having a very important conversation. We're talking about depression, something that is affecting a lot of people silently, and it doesn't look like we're talking about it enough. And so that is why we're having this important conversation this morning. If you want to make some contributions, you have a question, you want to make a comment, please, the number to text is 0544321019, 0544321019 on WhatsApp. And you can as well call me on 03039566641, 03039566641, and I'll give you the opportunity to share your thoughts. I'm speaking to two individuals who are in the space, in the mental health space. Abigail Yeboah is a clinical psychologist, and also Robertson David Infojo is a clinical health psychologist as well. And these are the two individuals helping me have this conversation this morning. Now, let me come back to you, Abigail, on this one. Now, we live in a world where we glorify hustle. Everybody's on the grind because you must survive, Everybody must do something to be able to feed. How does that for depression amongst us in today's world?
So I think it really does fuel depression. Sometimes it depends. In a lot of efforts, but you are getting little results. So it can also cause depression. And then I think one thing that also contributes to us feeling depressed is comparisons, unnecessary comparisons, right? So because of the technology, social media, we see people our age get so Robertson, I think in his introduction spoke about how our thoughts affect our feelings, and then how our feelings affect our behavior. So in fact, usually everything starts from your thinking, how you appraise a situation. So if you're going through something, or if a situation happens, if an event happens in your life, usually the meaning that you give to the event will determine how you're going to feel about it. And then it also affects how you behave, the behavior that you're going to put up. And then it's like a cycle. So in psychology, we call it the cognitive triad. So how you think affects how you feel affects your behavior. So it goes in that order. So it's more of a mind thing, how you are appraising a situation. So I think that even when it comes to, let me just cite this example, when it comes to religion, like Christianity, they call something renewing your mind.
Okay.
So I think everything starts from how you are seeing a situation, how you are appraising the situation, the meaning you are giving to the events that is happening in your life. It's going to determine how you're going to feel about it. And at the end of the day, it influences your behavior.
I see. Very interesting. I have some messages here. I just want to read them, and then we can move on. So this one is coming from Rex Menu Yeboah. He says that, interesting. I see why our ladies can be happy today and sad tomorrow. I think it's in relation to the premenstrual dysphoric disorder you talked about a while ago, Abina. And this one is from Humaira Munash Ibnat Yusuf. And he says that I'm enjoying this program. And this one is also coming from David Moore. And he says, interesting program. David, watching live from Domi. Thank you very much, David, Rex, and Humaira, for sending your messages. We are grateful that you did. All right. Now, let's go deeper into other things. Now, in our workplaces, depression is on the rise. And I want to hear from you, Rex. What are the consequences of untreated depression in the workplace? And I want you to speak to organizational leaders and all of that, because we have some people listening to us who are business owners and all of that. What are the consequences of untreated depression in the workplace, not just for the individual, but for the company or the team as a whole?
Okay. So depression leads to low performance because the So companies out there, organizations out there, most often I did something in organizational psychology, and it says that there are two places that every individual should be happy. That is the home and then the work. If you are not happy at home, that will go to work, and if you are not happy at work, that will go to home. So imagine where you are not being productive or you are not giving your best at work. Actually, when you go home, the desire to do something is not there. And the same way, when you're not being productive at home, it will come to work. So what I would suggest, or I wish, every organization out there should have a psychologist on board. And there should be that weekly, if not weekly, there should be that monthly assessment on staff to ascertain some of the psychological distress that they are going through. Because most often at times you see, oh, this person was very hardworking. Now his desire has gone down. Should we increase salary? No, it's not about you increasing salary. It's about getting to know what is wrong with the person. I think now, Abigail made mention of it. We've become more money-centered and money-conscious and leaving out the human-to-human factor. HRs out there, should make it a top-notch priority that let's get the professionals in. Let's not only do the medical assessment to see is their teeth hurting, is their nose hurting, are they having BP? No. There are some people out there having BP, and the BP is not caused by a physical or biological condition. It's caused only by stress.
I see.
Yeah. So I am urging companies out there that let's bring now. You see, conditions have moved from communicable diseases to lifestyle related. So if things have become lifestyle related, imagine moving from Domi to Spintex. That's where you work. The amount of traffic that you encounter on your way. You get to work, people stepping on your toes. You get to work, and it's like you're angry.
Yeah.
Nobody has caused you to get angry, but you are angry, so angry. Then you go, you sit down, you are not able to do anything. Your boss comes in while you are not working. He doesn't understand what you are going through. The car to your work area costs you some amount of stress.
Okay.
And if we get the professionals, a table in the office wouldn't hurt much. Get the professionals there, let them attend to your workers, and productivity will increase. This is what I would tell managers out there.
Okay, right. But you know that when the managers also want to help, sometimes it feels like they are overstepping or creating some discomfort. So, for instance, there's somebody that is suffering depression in the office. The manager keeps asking, or maybe the HR keep asking, how do we do that without creating that discomfort?
Come again, I didn't quite get you well.
No, so I'm saying that how do we create, how do leaders or the HR handle some of these issues when they spot depression in somebody? How would they be able to handle it without causing discomfort?
Good. So I'm sure every organization has its organogram, and there are channels which you have to go through. One firm that I consult for, what I did there was I told them when they brought me in, I told them, okay, so this is why you brought me in, but I don't want to do what you want me to do. I want to do something else. So they said, okay, fine, go ahead. So I first of all went in, did a general psychological assessment on the staff. After the assessment, I saw those red flags. Those that were red flagged, I went to them individually.
Okay.
Because the moment people get to know, hey, wait, the psychologist is going to see this person, it means that person has a problem. No, I will not post you at the work area. I will just select you. Let's go for a walk, or invite you out. Out. It should be out of the office. It shouldn't be, because the moment they see that the psychologist after the assessment is going to see Abigail, oh, Abigail has a problem. There should be a proper way. So there are modalities. I think if these companies or managers reach out to every psychologist out there, they can help them with such modalities. We have how to enter the community, how to take out of the community, and how to treat outside the community.
Okay. I see. Abigail, anything to add to that?
Yes, so depression is not so it has to be diagnosed clinically. So as a manager, if maybe you notice one or two symptoms, or as an HR, you notice one or two symptoms in one of your workers, you just don't go and say, oh, you are depressed. How can I do to help you? No. I mean, because of the stigma around mental health and all that. But even at the workplace, we can offer safe spaces, right, where people can just come and talk. Not just when you are seeing that there's a change in behavior. So if we can have an office where it is open for people to just come in and talk, not just when they are having issues, but even daily they can come in, and because actually somebody can be depressed and then they do not know.
Okay.
And your manager may not spot it, because I think one thing about depression is that it can also make you very hyperactive. So the person can have very good productivity. They are working well, they are producing results, but they may be depressed, or it may be as a result of the depression, right? Because of the a lot of energy that they have. So one thing is to just provide safe spaces. If you see that one or two of your employees, their behavior, they've changed and all that, you can just go to them, just not uprightly and tell them, oh, I've noticed that you have changed. No, but just letting the person know that if they need to talk, you are there for them. And then I think one thing that prevents most employees from talking is confidentiality issues.
Yeah.
Right. So I come to you as an HR to discuss my issues, and the next thing I know, my colleague knows about it. The next thing I know, you are using it as an example in your presentation. So I wouldn't come. The next thing I know, it is a topic of discussion. Maybe you do not mention my name specifically, but you have an office meeting and they are talking about depression all of a sudden. You have an office meeting and they are talking about mental health all of a sudden. As human as I am, I would think that it's because of what I told you that you are talking about it. But then if this is a frequent thing that the office does, I wouldn't tag it. But if we are meeting frequently and discussing mental health, then I know that, okay, so this is not just about me, but then about everybody.
I see. Very, very interesting stuff you shared there. And so you talk about confidentiality. I just want to double click on that a bit. How do you ensure that there is that atmosphere of confidentiality as an HR when you want to relate to your staff in line with issues like this? How do you do that, Abigail?
So just as we have anonymous reporting or tips, you can have that equally when it comes to mental health issues. So they can have an anonymous reporting where you don't have personal information about the person, but then you are addressing the issue. I think that would do, right?
Okay.
So if I come to, so just as somebody comes to report maybe an incident or a corruption, you are not allowed to disclose the person's identity. We can do same with mental health. So when you're talking about it, don't say that, oh, this person came to me and said this. No. So just like you address some of these things anonymously, you can do same with mental health conditions as well. So that is one of the ways to ensure confidentiality at the workplace.
Right.
And you need to be trustworthy as well as a manager. I mean, if you have the track record that you've been telling others issues to other people, definitely people won't come to you.
Yeah, that's true.
So the person has to feel safe that this manager that I'm talking with will not go home and then start to discuss my issue with his wife or the children, or will not go and then on Sunday I will be the topic of discussion. No, so you should be very trustworthy as well. So you should have that track record that for this person I can trust them, I can confide in them and all that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me come to you. Let's talk about solutions now. And I'm coming to you, Robert. What are some daily or weekly habits that business leaders or even professionals can adopt to protect their mental health?
Okay. So the first thing I would a positive mindset. Now, in positive psychology, we talk about acknowledging your thoughts, accepting your thoughts, and not putting yourself in all situations. Take an example as I walk into an environment, and the moment I walk there, there's a sudden outburst of laughter. I don't go thinking, oh, okay, they are making mockery of me, I have not dressed well. No. But they are having their conversation. They are just having their conversation. So to kill my negative thought, says they are talking about me. Oh, Charlie, what happened? Oh, one person said this, that. I did not conclude on it that they were talking about me. Secondly, we should appreciate our thoughts. This is something that most people find it very difficult. I think earlier I made mention of something called situational depression.
Yeah.
You lose a loved one, or you lose a job. Do not go thinking that you are useless. There is no sense in you. You can't do anything. No. Tell yourself, this door that just closed means that there is a different door meant to be opened. So I have to go forward and open that door. Going forward to open that door will not be that easy, but with time, things get better. In recent times, something I've been championing is growth. When we say growth, we mostly focus on the definitions of growth. No. But if you really want to understand growth, please plant a tree and let that tree become a part of you as a way of you growing. I'm saying this because let's take a corn. You pick a corn, you put it into the ground. Now this corn has two options: to stay down there and die, and there is no use for it.
Okay.
Or to tell itself, I can do it. Now to do it, this corn has to force through the soil to be able to sprout out. And it's a journey that this corn must go through. Exactly. So as you are out there, whatever challenge that comes your way, yes, you've seen your friends, they are driving the big cars, you are not driving some. Don't worry, your time will come. Keep up the good faith. Stay positive. Everything here should be positive. Because if you thrive on positivity, I can tell you for a fact, according to the laws of life, it says that positive things attract, a positive mindset attracts positive things.
Right.
So if you have that positive mindset, trust me, positive things will always come your way. In instances where you feel that you are so much overwhelmed, seek professional help. Go to 37 if you are in Accra. Go to Accra Reach, that is Reach. Go to Kolebu. There are professionals all over Ghana. Sit down with them. They will take you through certain therapeutic processes. We have CBT available. We have, I mean, there are a host of therapies out there that can help you go through these challenges. But I would like to touch on, which is very key.
Just before you go there, Robertson, just before you go to that, you talk about therapy. Now, therapy still feels like a taboo for many people in Ghana. How do we break that? People see therapy as of care.
You see, I don't know who gave that perception though, where people think going into therapy means that you are mad. Today, I want to explain this concept.
Sure.
We are all mad. Listen, we are all mad. When I get angry, it means I'm mad. So madness go with anger. So everybody out there who gets angry is mad. But then we have what we call mental illness and then mental health disorder. So we all have the disorders. We all have the disorder. So as you are standing there, you have a disorder. I have a disorder. Abigail has a disorder.
My spiritual self will say, I reject it in Jesus' name.
People, no, don't refuse it in Jesus' name. Everybody out there is having a mental disorder. But the moment you force it, so just like we can all get any health condition, the same way we can all get mental health. We all have mental health disorders. We are all liable to it. But when it becomes an illness, so listen, those we see out there are the people that are ill. So they are mentally ill. Just as someone who is having BP is physically ill. I'll take it again. Madness. So let's stop using the word you are mad. He is mad. She's mad. No. We are all mad. When I get angry, I'm mad. So mostly I like to associate madness with anger.
Okay.
And we all have mental health disorder. Everybody in this world.
Why do you say that?
Everybody has it.
Why
I'm
do you
saying
say
that because it's like we in mental health we say there's a thin line between normality and disorder or illness. It's like sitting on a fence. You are sitting on a fence. And this side of the fence is the side where you are okay. The moment you tilt to this side, you have the illness. So the same way, when you are here, you are living with a disorder. But the disorder has not reached a threshold where it will become illness.
Okay.
So when it passes the threshold, then it becomes illness. So those on the streets, those we see there, are mentally ill. Some people can self-induce their own illness. Don't take tramadol. Someone will go and take tramadol. You are inducing yourself to go into the illness aspect of it.
Okay.
Don't overstress. Don't overthink negative. And you start overthinking negative. You are pushing your threshold to go into the other side of the disorder.
Right.
Yes. So today we have learned this. We are all having the mental health disorder. Just as we can all get any illness, we can all get any mental health disorder.
Right. Okay.
But it has not yet become an illness.
Okay.
Now, when you come into therapy is so good. I'm telling you this. Therapy is good.
Okay.
I was shocked one time when a businessman came into therapy. We did assessment, everything was normal. He said, "Oh, I'm not here for the illness aspect, but I'm here because I want to take a business plan and I'm confused. I want you to help me to systematically analyze the positives and then the negatives of this business that I want to do." We do this in therapy. You are confused about a business plan, just come into therapy. It's not that the psychologist knows it all, no, but he or she would objectively guide you. You see, when you are making decisions, most of them will make decisions that are very subjective. but the psychologist will let you look at things from an objective lens. So please, to your listeners out there, just walk into the psychologist's office. You are not mentally ill. Just walk into the office. Just say hi. Just say hi. So I came here to say hi to you, Mr. Psychologist or Miss Madam Psychologist. Then he or she would respond, okay, can you sit down? Let's just have a brief, let's talk. Let's just talk. Jenny, when you were coming, did you find it difficult locating here? Please, therapy is good.
Okay, therapy is good. We have very limited time. I know you were trying to give us some habits or some things we should do to be able to deal with this one, especially as business leaders and professionals. Well, let's move on a bit. I have a few questions. I have a question online. We'll try and tackle that very briefly. But if there's someone struggling quietly right now, what's the first thing they should do after the show ends? Abigail.
Reach out, for help. I think one thing that depression does is it's right, but then there's help out there. So it could be a support system, not just professional help, but you can start from there. Because I don't think that as an individual, there's nobody in your life that you can talk with. But usually depression will make you think as if you are alone and there's nobody to listen to you. Nobody likes you. Everybody hates you. Everybody has deserted you and all that. Depression makes you think like that. So you isolate yourself. So maybe the first thing you can do is go out. If there's an activity, a social gathering, you can just go there. Because sometimes it's difficult even finding the right words to say, right? But then just being around people can help the depression. So instead of just being home alone, you can just try. It will be difficult, but just try to be in the company of people. Who will understand you, people that you trust, right? Then from there, you can move to seeking the professional help. Because sometimes it's just like the stigma, it's difficult to even wake up and say, oh, I'm going to the hospital. Who are you going to see? I'm going to see a psychologist. Even as we work in some of these mental health facilities, sometimes you're even stigmatized. Right? Hey, you're a psychologist in Chi, and there's also a damn crowd. That's it. But just step out, be around people that you trust. Try. It will be difficult, but when you do it, you know that it is worthwhile.
Okay. All right. Before we go, are there any resources, maybe any outlines or maybe services in Ghana you recommend for those who might want to seek help? But just before you answer that, you say reaching out. If somebody reaches out to me and I don't know what to tell the person, or I listen to the person and I have nothing to offer, what do I do? Is there something I need to know so that I can help the person?
Okay, I would say something small. Reach out. When a person reaches out to you, just as we are holding this program, earlier I made mention that you can go to 37, there is help there. So the person coming to you, you can kindly go with the person to 37. You ask of the psychologist office, they will attend to you. If you are, let me say, in Kumasi, just walk into Konfanote. There are psychologists there. If you are in Sunyani, we have the Sunyani Teaching Hospital. If you are in Tamale, we have the Tamale Teaching Hospital. And I think even in Tamale, there is a private clinic called Tolek in Tamale that you can visit for help. So there is help everywhere. Just that most people don't really make use of these helps. But there is help everywhere.
I see.
And I think if you go online to the Ghana Mental Health Authority also has helplines and hotlines available online that you can access. Interestingly, we are talking about this in a month where we are celebrating mental health awareness. And this month, the theme for this year is saying CASA. That's your voice. Your talk. When you are depressed, when you are worried, whatever form of psychological challenges that you are going through, please talk.
Talk to somebody.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So just to add
Just to, all right,
something
sure.
little, I mean, as as a friend to a friend who is going through some sort of emotional challenge, you don't have to talk all the time. Sometimes they need you to just listen. You don't need to offer a suggestion. Right? You don't have you may not have the professional training, but you can listen. So just let the person go on and on and on and on. Sometimes as a friend, a hug will do. You can just hug the person, assure them that they will be all right. Right. So these are some of the things that as a friend to a friend who is struggling, you can do. So it's not just about offering solutions. Okay, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you eaten? Have you called this person? Why don't you go to the hospital? Sometimes they just need you to just listen to them without offering a solution. So that's something that as a layman you can do. Listen.
Okay.
We listen, we don't judge. So listen, do not to judge. Just to be there for the person. Allow them to go on and on and on and on. A reassurance that, oh, you will be fine. And just a hug or a tap on the shoulder can go a long way. Right. So it's not about the talking too much. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? No. Sometimes just listen to the person.
All right, thank you very much, Abigail and Robertson. Well, I have some questions online. Maybe I'll just read them. This one says that it's from Rex Menu Yeboah. It says that what is the best mental framework a heavy scheduled career person could cultivate as a culture in a business and an unfriendly workplace? Very, very important. I really wish we could touch on that briefly. Maybe in 1 minute. Abigail, if you can speak to that.
Well, so when it comes to workplace stress management, when we concentrate on changing the individual without changing the source of stress, it may be counterproductive. So if the source of stress is coming from the organizational culture, it's coming from the work environment, that if I change, but then my environment has not changed, I may not see any positive changes. So if the stress is coming from that place, then that is where the change needs to start from. But as an individual, what you can do for yourself is to recognize the signs, right? When you are stressed out, when you are depressed. Now, when you recognize and then you are able to identify it, then personally, you can put in some of the stress management techniques like planning your time, scheduling, having some exercises, leisure in between your work. I mean, going on break. I think in Ghana, that's something that we usually, when it is break time, when it is lunch time, you even want to stay in the office and work because you have a lot of workload. And then sometimes you can even be being assertive, like telling your manager that you are not going to take the work home.
Okay.
Because you are not being paid for the overtime, right? But then in Ghana, because of the way we are socialized, usually we find it difficult to say no.
That's true.
Because we think that when we say no, they'll think we are bad people. We don't like our work and all that. But sometimes we should be bold to say no. This one, I mean, it's not in my... I think one thing that employers use, and when you get to your appointment letter, there's a last statement there and any other responsibilities assigned to you.
Right.
But then within your description, if it is not there, it is not there. If you are doing anything extra, you should be able to let them know that this is not what you are here for.
Okay.
And then you stay within your limits.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Abigail. Thank you very much, Robertson. I have a message here. It says that these psychologists are God sent to us, and we shouldn't hesitate to seek help. I've done that, and it's very helpful to me. That is coming from Humaira Munashib Nat Yusuf. Thank you very much for your time. Very, very powerful and honest conversation. I'm really grateful that you joined me. That was Abigail Yeboah from the UGMS. She's a clinical psychologist, and also Robertson Infojo is also a clinical psychologist, and these two individuals help me break down this particular subject today. Now, let me leave you with this. Mental health is not a side issue, it's a success issue. And so that is because you cannot build empires lead teams, raise capital, or create impact from an empty place. You matter, your mind matters, and asking for help is a strength and not a weakness. Please stay safe and stay grounded. This has been Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM, and this is how we wrap up today and also the week. We come back on Monday. Please keep listening to Z101.9 FM. My name is Nietzsche B. Hammond. Up next is The Brighter Side with NY, the brand. Until next week, please stay safe, and when you think Ghana, think Z. See you.
Finally, the weekend's come and everything is gone.